We can have your attention, please. Everyone can take out their cell phones, iPhones, handhelds, Blackberries, all personal devices. They have to be powered down. They can't be on silent, any mode other than powered down. So we'll take a second to do that as well. If you will be speaking this evening, there's a sign-in sheet here. We ask that you please sign in. We ask also that you direct all questions, comments, and concerns to this board. Speak into the microphone. If you do have to dialogue with one another, please take it out in the hallway. It interferes with our ability to hear those that are speaking. Because of the length of our agenda this evening, which is quite lengthy, we are going to, as most of the municipalities locally, implement the 3-minute rule, and it will be enforced. So we ask that you please respect when you're advised that your time is up. And as always, we're going to be courteous with one another, correct? We're going to start by opening the meeting. Motion to open.
I make a motion that we open the meeting of the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation on June 14th, 2014.
July 14th.
Oh, July.
Yeah.
July 14th.
Second.
July 14th.
It's a good month, June. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Welcome to the July 14th, 2014 meeting of the Architectural Board of Review and Historic Preservation. My name is Curtis Highsmith, and I'm your chairman. We'll introduce our panel. We have Ham Hogue, Esther Pastor, Christina Redding, Brian Brady. I'd like to welcome our historic consultant, Zach Studenroth, our legal counsel, Bill Robinson, and Antoinette, as always, we welcome you as well. We're going to start this evening's meeting with signs, and first application sign.
Chairman Hal Goldberg, Gardens and Landscaping for an architect sign.
Is the applicant present? Is the applicant present? There's assumption that the sign's going to be white. This is the logo, Harold Goldberg, Garden and Landscaping, telephone number, and a website. It's a contractor sign. Any questions or any issue?
Yes,
Yes.
it should be plain,
I think it should.
simple.
Okay.
I don't have any issues with it, actually.
I don't think we need the www.
Okay.
That's it.
There's enough for us to at least have question by the applicant, and I would like him to be present. So we're going to ask motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn the sign application for Hal Goldberg Gardens and Landscapes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next application,
Buzz
please.
Chew.
Hi, Chairman, board members. My name is Suzanne Arce. I'm here on behalf of Buzz Chew at North Turning On Sign Company. I have packets for you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm here for the 4 signs that were proposed on this site. If you look at the first and second photo, it's just photos of the building. And then the next few photos are just the existing signs that are there right now, and they're just looking to be replaced.
Replace like in kind.
Same exact, same thing, just a newer version, updated, just better quality.
No illumination, no...
They're non-illuminated. Nope, they're not. Currently, right now, they're being illuminated by indirect spotlights that they just have, but they're not non-illuminated letters. This is a sample of the proposed new one, just they're going to be a little bit larger. 2 will be painted blue, and 2 will be, I think, graphic, some kind of graphics.
Any issue? Ham?
I think we can do without the medallions on it. Other than that, I'm okay.
Medallions exist.
We could have, I don't think they exist, we never approved them.
Yeah, they're there. They're there now, yeah.
They're not being
Those
looked at,
photos
so
are
they-
current photos of what's there now.
Okay, all right.
Esther? Brian?
I'm okay.
Christine?
I'm okay.
Any public comment on the application? Motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the application for the sign for Buzz Chew at 656 County Road 39.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next
Thank you.
application, please. Good luck.
Thank you.
27 West Main for storefront signs.
I'll be recusing on this one.
Hello, board members. Kitty Clay, This is, I have existing signs on the building, and these are a proposal for a sign on the street front on Main Street, and then also a proposal for a sign in the rear of, in the parking lot of the, I'm just behind this building.
Right
Set
over
back.
here, this building behind you.
Oh, yes, sorry. Right, I'm set back here. So basically, it's hard for me to be noticed from Main Street. So there's an allotted space where other signs have been present on an existing building on Main Street. And you can see it, I think, from the photos there. Diane had mentioned to me, Diane from the Buildings Department had mentioned to me before that the rear sign, she didn't think that you all would approve it because of needing to have 40 feet 40 feet distance from the building. I don't know if that's true or not, but I have an alternative
Building
option.
inspector told you. that
No,
we
no.
wouldn't- I'm sorry, secretary, assistant.
Oh, okay.
Told you we wouldn't approve it because we
She
would
wasn't
govern the
sure.
distance between.
Yes, the building. She queried it. I won't say she didn't say no. She just queried it. So I wanted to suggest that I have an alternative, and that you don't see there, if that's not agreeable.
It's very odd that the building department, who delegates what's appropriate in terms of distance and location, would tell you to ask this board, and that you brought it up, which I think is very honorable. But if it's out of compliance and it was signed off by code enforcement, I have even greater question, counsel.
There's an existing
Well,
sign.
it's not the one on Main Street. It's
Okay.
for the rear sign. Which one did she? May I
It's
see
on
what
what's
you
going to be
have?
called West Main
Um,
Street eventually, the planning commission. I don't
Yeah,
have any
it
issues with
is-
this
it is on
application.
this
It's
Main
a
Street.
challenge
So
location.
it is.
Are you referring
That's
to that sign?
correct. Yes.
It's
That's,
existing?
no, it's not
Not
existing.
existing, you're proposing.
That's a new proposal. There's nothing back there. That's the one that was queried.
Okay. I don't have any issue with it.
I don't have any issues with it either.
Christine?
No, I have no issues with it.
Brian?
Okay.
No, I think
Well, can I ask you if you like this one better? Because I've been trying to decide. This one's actually would be on the building.
See it? Can you?
So it would be, do you want to have a look at it?
Yes, if you can get it in here.
Thank you.
Instead of that,
So instead of
it
a
would be a-
rectangular sign, you're saying
Yeah.
the circular sign.
Yeah. You know,
More character.
pop
Christine?
more.
either one's fine
Either
with me.
one. I agree.
I don't
Alright.
care.
What are you
Nice.
proposing? It seems you have a board approval,
Which
depending
one
on
would
your
you
discretion.
prefer?
Do we need to show it side by side?
Think about it for a while.
I don't know. That's
have a
why I was
point if
hoping
you
that
need
I'd
it.
get like, yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna say if I had to choose, I'd have the square one.
Let's
The
let the
square one.
applicant choose that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of open to what people think. I think that one's nice. You know what? The one on this standing out is probably better. It probably attracts more attention, which is the goal.
So you're
So we'll stick with that one.
rectangular.
Yeah. All right.
Any public comment on the application?
Hey, good.
All right, so rectangular sign, correct?
Okay, yes.
You can take this one back then. Motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the sign application for Kitty Clay LLC at 27 West Main Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thanks.
Next application is Astoria Bank.
Good evening, Jeff Going, representing the bank and Going Sign Company. Astoria Bank is looking to implement their recent name change and branding on their two existing signs at that location.
Story.
Both signs will remain as is, non-illuminated, with the raised lettering.
Raise lettering. Brian, any comments?
nope. I have no
Christine?
problem with it.
think it's very bright.
Okay,
That's my comment.
that's your comment. Esther?
I would agree with Christine that it's bright, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty ugly, actually. Or why don't you show it to everyone? It's a bank
Seriously?
sign, I'm fine with it.
It's a bank sign, it's your corporate coloring, correct?
It's their new corporate color and logo, yes.
Right.
Corporate
So
color and
it's a
logo.
no-brainer, unfortunately. Do you have options on color, black and white?
That design took over 9 months for them to finally settle on.
It's like 9 months.
Oh, yes, believe it or not.
About how long you get things approved, too, sometimes.
You have no other options from your corporate.
For the coloring, no.
I don't, it's the corporate coloring.
Fine with it. Okay.
Any issue?
No?
Any public comment on the application? Just in case you didn't see it. It's a sign. Motion to approve.
You can make the motion.
I make a motion to approve the sign for Astoria Bank at 65 Nugent Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Next application, Spa Unique.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? I'm Monique Wisniewski. I don't have any paperwork with me. You have it.
Okay, very good. Spa Unique, of the Hamptons, your name and your telephone number. Is that what you're proposing?
Yes, please.
It is. Phone number, I just have a little issue with. Looks a little billboardish. A name of company, I have no other issue.
Okay.
But that's just me. I'll pull the board. Christine?
No, my only comment was that because of the logo, the other signs are sort of more plain, and this kind of brings.
But
a
I'm
different-
beauty. That's a big difference.
I'm sorry?
I'm beauty. I'm about the beauty industry. So it should stand out a little bit.
Okay.
I think that
Right.
changes everything.
I think the other law firms, that's their logo, so
Yeah.
so it's okay. I'm okay with it.
So Robinson's not beauty. That's,
I'm fine with
you're
it.
fine with it. Any public comment on the application? Motion to approve.
Motion that we approve the application for Spa Unique at 61 Main Street.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next application is Gabrielle and Morano. Storefront sign.
Hi, Ron Fisher for the applicant.
Simple black and white sign, law firm of, correct?
No, it's actually plexiglass, and that's going to be a gray background with black letters.
That's Plex? Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions?
None.
Plain sign? Nothing decorative? Any public comment? Motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the sign for Gabrielle and Morano at 61 Main Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next application is for a contractor sign, Plum Builders.
Hello, Catherine Tremblay, Plum Builders. I think you have the paperwork, but
Yes,
I
we
have
do.
some extra if you need it.
And I'm Myron Holtz, I'm the owner of the property at 24 Pulaski Street.
Contractor sign, Plum
Yes.
Builders logo, and a website, correct?
Correct.
Black, a white background, plum lettering?
Yep, and gray, Builders is in gray.
Okay. Same font?
Yes.
Christine, comments?
Fine.
Any
I
comments?
still don't like the www.
Okay.
It's fine.
Any public comment on the application? Motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the sign for Plum Builders, the contractor sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next application, Taconic Builders for a contractor sign.
Is the applicant present? We have a sample of the sign, which looks black and blue lettering, white background. Name of the company, your www dot, telephone number, and locations of their other offices.
I don't have any issues with it, it's fine.
Christine,
No, I've seen it. It's nice.
any public comment on the application? Motion to approve.
Which one is it? I don't have it on my agenda.
It's the,
I
Number
make a
8.
motion to approve Taconic Builders, Inc. for a contractor sign.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
That concludes our sign permits for this evening. First application, historic.
Mr. Chair, first application is 436 Gin Lane, LLC, for demolition of existing dwelling. It's closed for written decision.
Council?
And I'm still working on the decision, so that matter will be carried over to the next meeting.
Okay, so already closed, doesn't require any adjournment. Next application, please.
Next application is 477 First Neck Lane, ROB LLC, construction of two-story single-family dwelling. Closed for written decision. You have a decision in front of you.
Decision in the file, and affirmative vote on the motion would be to approve the application.
Motion to approve the application for BOB LLC.
I make a motion to approve the application for ROB LLC at 477 First Neck Lane.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next application is 140 Meadow Lane, LLC.
Council?
Also, written decision is in the file pursuant to the consensus of the board approving the application as submitted, and affirmative vote on the motion will be to approve the application.
Motion to approve written decision by council, approval of 140 Meadow Lane LLC.
I make a motion to approve 140 Meadow Lane LLC for driveway gates.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next application is EAM, 40 Meadow Lane, LLC, the construction of new two-story single-family dwelling.
Council?
Closed for written decision.
I know we had some questions in the file about this application.
Well, I understand there are people in the audience that wish to address this application, although it has been closed for written decision only. It's my counsel to the board that individuals wishing to address this be given an opportunity to state their position, notwithstanding that the matter has been closed.
As counsel for the applicant, may I
Yeah, step forward.
My name is John Bennett, and I understand that there's been I represent the applicant, which was closed for written decision with the direction of the board members to write a favorable written decision. And I'm saying this for the applicant, for the board members, for the public, for property owners throughout the village. If you can't rely on the process, you can't make decisions. There's a rule of law, and without it, you have no reliance. Opening up this hearing will have undermined forever the meaning of a public hearing, and that would be a horrific precedent. These are not broad platitudes. They are basic foundations of a civil society, which you don't bend for convenience. If you have notice, you have a responsibility to attend a public hearing or send a representative. That is your responsibility. You can't complain when you are not responsible. It's your responsibility. And you have to live with the consequences of your decision. Closing a public hearing means something. If you forfeit or do not take advantage of your right to be heard, you have waived it. If you don't go to vote, you can't complain when the candidate that you don't like gets elected. It's very simple. Now, what are the standards? Well, first of all, I want to remind the board that we had previously submitted affidavits of mailing and posting confirming that proper notice of the June 11th, 2014 public hearing was provided. All neighboring property owners had the opportunity to attend the public hearing or provide written comments or to send a representative, and they chose not to attend. You can't escape that. Whatever the reasons, whatever the excuses, whether or not there's a dinner party or something like that or a graduation to attend, that doesn't mean that you can't send a representative. They chose not to attend. They have forfeited their right to be heard. So what's the standard? There are certain circumstances under which you can open a public hearing, and the courts have been very, very direct about this. You have to show that there were new facts unavailable at the time of the public hearing in order to open up a public hearing. And that's just, for example, a Third Department case of Carter versus Adirondack Park Agency. You have to have a showing of new facts. And I've looked at all of these submissions, so to speak, And none of them show any sort of facts that were not available to any of these people who want to open up the public hearing at the time of the June 11th meeting. So you simply can't willy-nilly open up a public hearing. There's a legal standard, which just makes sense because there's a process and you have to adhere to that process. Any other thing is just anarchy. So you have to have a showing of new facts. And then one person actually had the temerity to suggest that there'd be no material prejudice to the applicant. Well, delay, as everyone knows, is a significant prejudice, and I've submitted a letter, which was hand-delivered today, where we show that the applicant intelligently and prudently waited for this board's direction to draft a favorable decision, and then contracted with contractors and incurred considerable expense. This is a situation where the board, with a full open hearing, was actually quite favorably disposed towards the application. I just want to read you some of the comments that the board made. The subject home is handsome, beautiful, wonderful interpretation of old and new. And as I said, at the tear-down hearing of this, we were going to try to maintain the integrity and feel of the house. Wonderful interpretation of the old and new, beautiful, good-looking, love the scale, mimics what was there in the past, but being torn down in a modern way. Great job. The house is handsome, it's beautiful, appropriately cited. So this was a well-considered hearing. We gave you wonderful presentations. Everyone had an opportunity to be heard. There's been no showing of new evidence, and I would ask you simply to do what you said you were going to do the last time, and for which there has been no legally recognizable rationale for changing that course, is to simply render a decision.
Thank you. I know that the application is not being voted on at right now with regards to reopening. Give me a second, Jim.
No, I just wanted to. I had one last thing. I apologize.
Just let me finish. However,
not for the applicant.
Guys, please. We just started. We will allow those that are trying to defend their right to have it reopened heard and take it under advisement whether they are valid arguments or not. But that's all we're considering doing at this time. So
I just wanted to add that what you have to consider before you tonight is whether or not there are valid reasons to reopen, as you correctly stated, not a full-blown presentation from anybody. Thank you very much.
So those that wish to speak, 3 minutes, please.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Philip Howard. I live at 63 Meadow Lane. On behalf of the neighbors, including my wife and the other adjoining neighbors, we submitted a memorandum last week. We have a summary of it here, 8 copies for the Buildings Department. There are a number of people from the community who would like to speak, and they will come up in order. Process is important. I agree with Mr. Bennett on that. But process is not as important as the correct result, particularly when the deviation from process is only a matter of a few weeks. We haven't even received a written opinion yet. You will get statements from people, I will submit one now, of different reasons why this should, I would argue, must be reopened, including the absence of adequate notice, particularly of a completely...
Are you challenging the process of notice and posting?
Yes, of new design. Secondly, the failure to present, of the applicant to present essential facts needed for this board to make the determination, particularly the absence of context of the surrounding buildings. The design was submitted in the abstract as if it were sitting on a 20-acre lot somewhere without any reference to the buildings next door and how it will look with relation to the building next door. We have, although it's not our obligation, actually gone to the effort, if you wanted just to see what we would present, the kinds of materials, superimposed the new design on the existing lot.
You realize that that's discretion of this board to ask or request any information which relevant to the neighbor or surrounding area.
Yes.
It's not a part of a checklist for the building department or the application process.
Well,
photos.
The code says the board shall consider, quote, the board, chapter 65, shall consider the following factors: the scale of the proposed new construction in relation to surrounding properties in the neighborhood, the texture, materials, and color, and their relation to similar features of other properties in the neighborhood, visual compatibility with surrounding properties. That's explicit, said shall consider. So,
But that's shall consider, and that's that very open-ended definition of what we're looking for in terms of a complete application. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a requirement. We have the discretion to look at each application individually and render our decision on whether we need further information.
we agree that this board has enormous latitude in making decision, and ultimately the judgment of what the right thing to do with this lot in this very important historic district is something that I think we both agree is important to the community. The absence of essential facts, and also the fact that this design is dramatically different than the representations that were made at the demolition hearing of what the design would be, where the applicant, where Mr. Bennett on behalf of the applicant stated explicitly this is decidedly not going to be a modern building. In fact, this building has no material in common with the surrounding buildings. None. It's glass, limestone, concrete, mahogany, and zinc. So different people here will present different evidence of why they think it should be reopened.
Let you know we're over our 3 minutes.
Yes, I would like to submit 8 copies of the letter, I'm a lawyer, I've written, of legal authorities of why this should be reopened. And as to prejudice, if I might briefly, we met with the owner immediately after the June 11th hearing when we saw the design and told him that we were going to move to reopen it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to be heard? Step forward.
Yes, my name is Bruce Bachman. I live here in the village in Halsey Neck Lane. As many of you know, I've attended almost all of the meetings of the board of the last year, primarily to determine what the procedures are, how it operates, what the thinking is of the board.
You're a good member, Bruce.
What's that?
Join the board.
Well, we'll see in a moment. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but the point being, I have spent a lot of time here, and I must say overall, although I've disagreed with some of the decisions that have been made, I have been impressed with the thoroughness of the process of this board. I think the board not only represents the people who are petitioning them, but it represents the common good of the village, and I think generally you've done that with good due diligence.
Thank you.
I've watched you talk about windows, for little windows, how big the windows are. You listen to sign situations, talking about the color, the logo. You do all of that, and you do it very carefully. And it's an extensive process, and it's been very thorough. I listened to the meeting last time. None of that happened. None of that happened. The presentation was made, and I've seen what's been made, and it's the presentation of the renderings of the buildings, nothing else. We had a little chat. I couldn't hear what you said, sir, so I don't know. The next comment was, this is fabulous. Pam started it. I'm sorry, Mr. Hoag started it. Mr. Brady followed up. Everybody else nodded, and it was done. That's not the way you've operated for the last year. And I don't understand why the same degree of diligence in the whole process, protecting the best interests of the village, was not followed in that meeting. I know it's at your discretion, but I don't understand why. And I'd like a reason.
We all looked at the application. At that particular meeting, we all came to a conclusion that what we saw in the presentation was satisfactory at that time. And that's the reason why, and that has happened before. I don't want you to think that that was a rarity or that's never happened. We've had applications in past time where we've seen it at the initial application process, and the presentation was impressive. It was thorough enough that we were satisfied with what we were presenting.
Well, and I claim that what you did was inadequate, given the importance of this particular situation, and that it is inconsistent with the way you've approached almost everything I've seen you do in the last year.
Sorry. Anyone else?
My name is Ryan Agreven. I'm here to quickly read you a letter I've prepared at the suggestion of council. I don't think it'll run 3 minutes. Honorable members of the board, the undersigned serves as a member of the Board of Governors of the Meadow Club of Southampton, and in such capacity has been requested by the Executive Committee of the club to write this honorable board in connection with the 40 Meadow Lane proposal. We're here before you tonight due to the absence of any prior opportunity to be heard. And in response to your council's kind suggestion, we have set forth our position in writing. We were recently informed of a prior meeting of this board at which the 40 Meadow Lane proposal was discussed on or about June 11th. We had no knowledge nor any notice of this planned meeting. Upon subsequent inquiry, we were informed by your board's counsel, Mr. Robinson, that lawful notice was served by the statutorily designated party in the prescribed manner on all neighboring property owners entitled thereto. We're not here to impugn the integrity of this board's mailing of notice process, and anything to the contrary should not be inferred. The fact remains that the intended result is, as in our present case, at variance with reality. I've enclosed with this letter 3 statements from 3 immediate neighbors of the Meadow Lane project site, including one from the Meadow Club, attesting to the fact of lack of receipt of any notification of the June meeting of this board. In light of these statements and the absence of opportunity to be heard, learned counsel's arguments to the contrary notwithstanding, if you're going to attend, you've got to have notice. You can't attend if you don't have notice. I request this honorable board to provide an opportunity to allow the intent of the statute to prevail.
So are you saying that you received not any form of notification at all?
That's correct. If I may read one of the letters. The Madonia family resides at 99 Meadow Lane in Southampton. We received a phone call this morning, July 14, during which we were asked whether we had received any notifications or information regarding 40 Meadow Lane by mail or certified mail, and the answer to this question is no, underlined. No member of the Madonia family has received notification as a neighbor regarding 40 Meadow.
Are you representing the Madonias? Are you representing? Are you representing the Meadow?
I was given this letter to read to the board tonight, yes.
Okay. All right.
I'll just finish it. No member of the Madonia family has received notifications as a neighbor regarding 40 Meadow Lane. Previously, the McGrath home and historically the Betts family residence, one of the earliest in our community. Sincerely, Madonia family. To similar effect is a letter written to learned counsel to the board from another neighbor, Mr. Cameron McCrae, and the third letter to similar effect from the executive manager of the Meadow Club.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Reiner, just for the record, if I can respond, I have the certified receipts for U.S. Postal Service to Linda Hackett, to Tom and Carolyn Dean, to Alexandra Howard, to the Meadow Club.
None of those 3 are mentioned by me.
Yeah, I did the Meadow Club was, but I'm just, for the record, we have the originals. I'd be happy to give you the copies of them, or some copies, if you'd like.
You have receipts for all 3 of the names I've given you?
Excuse me.
I don't know. I just have most of them here.
That's all.
An affidavit
It's
of
on the
mailing.
file. We'll make them available to Mr. Greven if he wants it.
Okay. It's in the file.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. I mean, you're saying that you have receipts for all 3 of these?
I have receipts which are in the file for a number of them, inclusive of the Meadow Club. Okay, but not, I don't see Madonia here.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other? Please step forward.
Good evening. My name is Linda Hackett, and I live at 62 Meadow Lane, and I am the neighbor immediately to the west of 40 Meadow Lane. And I received the letter, unfortunately a glitch on my end. It was mailed to me at my apartment. It arrived after the meeting. So, however, I think that I've been watching this process since you started talking about demolishing the house. And I watched the video October 9th, 2013, where we've already discussed this, Mr. Bennett said absolutely there would not be in contemporary. My client is not going to plan a contemporary building. Then I received a plan at the time of the ZBA meeting, February 27th, 2014, showing a traditional house that looked like it had traditional windows with some railings that could have been wood or, metal railings, who knows. So I said to my husband, oh, could be worse. At least it's not stainless steel. And the Lloyd House, the 40 Meadow Lane, I've been on this property since I was 6 years old. And the 40 Meadow Lane has always been there looming ahead, and it's very tall. And now this new house will be 15 feet higher. So when we go to the July 11th meeting, and I receive from people who've gone to the building department, we see this glass rendering, I'm just here to say that my view, our view from our house, will be a glass curtain that will be going from the top of the gable all the way to the ground, with surrounding sliding glass doors and glass windows with very, very little limestone. And I'm saying to screen it for privacy is impossible. The hedge that's there, that is my hedge, it's 25 feet high, and it won't even begin to cover the thing. And so I'm just saying that I was led to believe, and I was lulled into a sense of possible complacency that, oh, okay, it's just going to be a house that has to raise to FEMA standards, as I know the whole thing, the 16 feet plus 2 feet plus 35 feet, and fine. But now the fact that the materials are so different, the texture, the color, and everything, which, we've all been quoting this Southampton Code, I just feel that I want to stand up and just give my piece. And I do have some aerial photographs of the surrounding structures next to 40 Meadow Lane, which I'll hand to you, just to show that everything else in the...
So we don't have the ability here to stamp that in properly. If you wish to do that, what you should do is tomorrow morning take that to the building department where they can properly stamp it in.
Stamp it in, what does that mean?
Stamp dated as to receipt, date of receipt.
Okay.
And so also if you don't have you should put your name and address on those photos, and also what you understand they depict.
Yes, okay. And I mean, it's just to show that if you were going to show that this new building will be in keeping in the historic district of all the surrounding buildings, these photographs show that pretty much everything within view is shingle and so forth. So I'll have to take these to the building department, is that correct?
Yes. And remember, when you, again, write the description, assume that the person who's going to look at it doesn't really know what area this is, so be as descriptive as possible.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please step forward.
I'd like to speak.
Okay, I'm sorry, she had her hand up first.
Carolyn?
Hi, members of the board. My name's Caroline Dean. I live at 20 Meadow Lane, which is the house to the east of the 40 Meadow. And I received the certified things. The thing that changed for me was the added information about the new materials, the new height, the new description. I agree very much with everything that everyone said, and you all have dealt always fairly with us. We built our house in 1997, and you listened very carefully to us, and I respect what you're doing, but and I did receive the stuff, the sort of, yes, but the new information was startling to me, and I did think I wrote to all of you about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
I'm Alexandra Howard. I'm trained as an architectural historian, and I spent 10 summers at 40 Meadow Lane on the 3rd floor, so I'm very familiar with it. And I grew up across the street at 63 Meadow Lane, so I'm very familiar with the neighborhood. I have submitted this document at the building department, but I thought I would like to give it to you now for your convenience while you're speaking with me.
If you could deliver to the building department again tomorrow, again, they have the stamps in order to clock that in.
Well, it has been clocked in already.
Then it's part of the file.
So would you like to look at it now while I speak? Would it be all right with you if I displayed 2 pictures while I made my statement?
You want to display pictures?
Okay.
Just know we can't receive any news.
Okay, so I'll just do that for 1 sec.
Hope she doesn't take 3 minutes getting her pictures.
Please note my objection.
I know.
Thank you.
I'd like to display this. And I'd like to display this. I think it's just easier if you set up the podium. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to make a statement about the board should reopen the file regarding the issuance of a certificate of appropriateness for 40 Meadow Lane, because the site is vitally important to the beauty of Southampton. The application regards the construction of a building to replace an existing 120-year-old landmark of Southampton on a site that stands in the center of Southampton's most treasured 19th century resort buildings and next to the Meadow Club, the most important and historic institution for grass court tennis in America and one of the crown jewels of Southampton along with Shinnecock. The board should reopen its proceedings because to date, the only voices heard on the application has been the testimony of the representatives of the applicant, who have reversed themselves from their public representations to the board of October 9th, 2013. Many other voices are anxious to give testimony, not only those who are physically affected by the project, but those who have professional expertise in design and historic preservation, and those who just care deeply about the beauty of Southampton and its future. The board should reopen the file on 40 Meadow Lane because the application before it was incomplete, without the drawings required by the Code of Southampton of elevation and perspective drawings showing the building's relationship to adjacent properties, and without samples of color and materials. The board should reopen the file because it's authorized by the code to do so at its option. The board should reopen the file because, in reversing its instruction of October 9th, 2013 to the applicant, and holding a session only 10 minutes long, in which only one question was asked, the material of the roof, the board is holding the applicant of a contemporary glass building to a completely different standard of examination to that which it held in the past to the Meadow Club, to 20 Meadow Lane, to 62 Meadow Lane, 63 Meadow Lane, and to other Meadow Lane properties.
We're at your 3 minutes, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Step forward.
Oh,
Everyone has kind of said what I was going to say. I'm Justine Cushing. I live at 53 Meadow Lane. I'm directly across. And I was great friends with my cousin Grace Lloyd. And I was in her kitchen and I saw the drawings for the new building and I was pleased. It looked exactly like her house except there was a door in the front. And the reason I didn't get to the June 11th meeting was my certified notice was sent to Atlanta. They sent it to the family accountant there, and it was never forwarded to me. And then when I did find out...
What is the address on record for you?
Yes, it is in Atlanta.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'm sorry.
The applicant is only responsible for sending...
But I was just saying why I didn't come.
Okay.
Was because it wasn't forwarded to me. So then when I did see the renderings of the new glass building, I was shocked. Because everybody drives around the corner of First Neck Lane and the Meadow Lane to get to the world-famous Cooper's Neck Beach. And there is this very tall glass building. And the petitioners were never shown how the building would look in relationship to the other buildings. And now we have our exhibitions 5 and 6, which Alexandra showed. And it shows how bizarre it will look next to the other buildings. And I'm an interior decorator, and I was involved in redoing Alexandra Howard's garage at 63 Meadow Lane, and it was the cover story of the 2014 House Beautiful magazine. At the time we remodeled the garage, which was about 2001, we had to retain the historic exterior and the windows, which was so much more expensive than building a new concept on the footprint. What has happened to the principles of historic preservation that were so strictly enforced in 2001? I can't understand it. And my own house at 53 Meadow Lane is an A-frame that was built before the laws were passed, and I found it improper that it's used to provide context for the new glass building at 40 Meadow Lane, as it couldn't be more different. 53 has only glass on one facade, and the other 3 are shingled, including the facade facing the Meadow Club. Secondly, its bedrooms are completely private and in a shingled wing. And thirdly, the glass wall at 53 Meadow Lane lights up a living room with paintings and antiques and is only partly visible behind tall hedges and cypress trees, not filled with occupants who are dressing and sleeping. I feel strongly that the replacement building at 40 Meadow Lane should reflect the style of the Meadow Club, the finest club for grass court tennis in the country, and the style of its shingled neighbors. The proposed building will be a blight and an eyesore for the most beautiful and significant site in Southampton. I feel that working together we could find a solution that's so much better than the present proposal. Thank you for the countless hours you devote to preserving the beauty of Southampton.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Council?
Just a couple of items. I'll come up to the microphone. Remembering that what is before you is not a full-blown re-examination or a de novo look at this, but rather whether or not the applicants have demonstrated any...
I think the question would be about the notice. There were a lot of...
Oh, the notice, sure.
Talking about addressing...
The Meadow Club, Thompson, Caroline Dean...
What is that you're showing
Justine,
us?
I'm showing you what Ham showed before, which is all of the certified mailing that went out. Excuse me. Yeah, they went to the addresses that are on the tax rolls, which is why Ms. Cushing's accountants in Marietta, Georgia, received it. That's really the only thing you can do, because otherwise one's left to guess where the other person puts where the pillow is that they put their head on most of the time. So we're past that. The Madonias, and by the way, this serves two purposes. It shows that the applicant, this is in the file, it shows that the applicant did bring the house into context and the surrounding neighborhood. A Jaffe, Sugarman's house, another Jaffe, all within the neighborhood, and Ms. Cushing's, I believe, does that design look familiar? We tried to mimic it as much as we can so that it was part of the neighborhood, but it shows that we did show the neighborhood perspective. But it also shows, for example, I know these lots fairly well.
So are you staying on with the notification for a minute?
Oh, sure. There's
saying that-
Madonia. This is what the village gave us in accordance with their
What I have
requirement.
for the record is Linda Hackett at 535 Madison.
Mm-hmm.
Thompson and Caroline Dean. I think, Caroline, you said you received it? Okay.
Mhm.
Alexander Howard, did you receive it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And I made
Meadow
every
Club at
effort to get
555 First. Justine Cushing
I did.
at 175 Club Ridge in Marietta, Georgia.
That's not where I live.
Okay, so that's what's on. the
But it was
record.
received at the resident.
Village of Southampton.
When we're trying to address procedurally,
And there's
two
a-
things that were questioned. Did you get proper notice? And was it properly mailed? And was it properly posted? Procedurally, if any of those were any infraction of that, there could be a question as to reopening the case to keep to have the opportunity for those who did not receive proper notifications to rehear the case. That may be a proper evidence or some form of evidence to indicate that wasn't the issue. Then we could consider this to be reopened. If you're just saying that you don't like the house, the style, the materials that are being used, there's a process. So the question here is, are you asking us to reopen the application because of the style or because of the process?
If I may finish, the Madonias, a letter was written from paraphrasing something that the Madonias said at about 1,200 feet. Everyone knows where the Madonia house. It's across the street from the house that Lifton and Green built, far out of the notice area. I'm not saying they don't live on Meadow, they do, but just the same way Mr. Sugarman didn't have to receive notice because he's down the street, neither did the Madonias. And so, just a couple things. The height of the building, as you know, is required. There's nothing we can do about that. And you know, it's tough. Mr. Bachman is in the dictionary next to the word gentleman. There's a photograph of him, but he could have said what he said this evening at the June 11th meeting. He was here, so speak up. Or oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said you were at all the meetings, but in any event, you could. Anyway, let's not. I'm sorry. Okay,
John.
But, okay, just let me finish. Every argument from the objectants, every single one of them, could have been made at the June 11th, 2014 meeting. There's no new evidence.
There's also an affidavit of posting here. An affidavit of posting requires the poster essentially be there for a period of 10 days on the public right of way, which is Meadow Lane. Are you questioning the notification poster as well as the mailing, Reiner?
I'm told by Mr. McRae, no notice, nothing received.
No posting at all?
No posting.
And
I posted
you're
it
saying the
myself.
affidavit of posting is correct?
Yes, I posted it myself.
All right. Any other comments?
Nope.
As the only lawyer on behalf of the other side, may I respond to the lawyer's comments? There is a question of process. It's not just notice, which is that the design was changed through the process. So people relied upon representations before this board.
Is there an open application before this board and a portion, hear me out, and that application changed in the process? Because you're saying a process we're considering as an open application before this board.
Well, it would be odd to require residents who are concerned to be vigilant and to come down at each step of the way to make sure that there hasn't been a kind of bait and switch and a completely different design. It's not how real people work. They rely upon representations that are made, explicit representations of a traditional building, and then an explicit design that is traditional. So, one, I think that is a problem with the process, that people didn't have actual. Secondly, this board has the authority, I've submitted a legal brief, to reopen the hearing. I make the argument about whether there's prejudice or not. There's not, I argue in law, legal prejudice here. And the right thing to do, I submit, in the context of this vitally important site at the hub of the historic district, is to make sure that all of the facts and all of the images and all of the representations needed for a decision that everyone here can be proud of, because it's such an important part of such an important community, indeed one of the most important districts in the world of its type, is made properly. It's not just a question of adequate notice, even though that seems to have been somewhat defective, at least for some people. But legal notice is one thing, doing what's right, and the absence of prejudice, and again, it's only been a few weeks since the past hearing, is another. And I submit to you that doing the right thing, whatever this board considers it to be, doing the right thing is the most important issue before the board. And we, on behalf of the neighbors, believe that having another hearing to consider more evidence and facts would be important in the interest of this community and would not work to prejudice the applicant in a legal way. Thank you.
One last word, if I may.
Did you have another rendering? Was there ever any
No,
alternative rendering?
The application was submitted to this board. It didn't change from day one. It was filed as a building permit application. The renderings were there. They never changed. Never changed.
Did the public or anyone else ever see any other rendering other than the one was presented?
It's irrelevant. The application was made to the board. There was a silhouette of the building which didn't change. Excuse me, may I please finish? There was a silhouette at the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting just to demonstrate the fact that if you raise the old Cushing house at 40 Meadow Lane to the same FEMA requirement as the new FEMA requirement was, it would be essentially in the same facade. That's all it was. That's all that was for. There's no bait and switch here. The application that was made to this board was in the building department. It's been sitting there. There's never any change to it. Never any change to it. So that's something I want to make sure that everybody is aware of.
This board would take in consideration, it's obviously the application is not open, it's closed. We'll take in consideration everything that's been said, everything that's been heard, everything that's been said, and everything that's been heard, and then we will render a decision on A, whether we will reopen the application, or B, whether we'll just vote as a written decision as currently the application has been voted and approved to do.
And thank you very much for all the time you've given us.
That'll work. Application is already closed, doesn't require any adjournment. Next application, please. Let's give a second while there's some disbursement.
Next application.
Gave me a letter.
Sure, of course. But I think those have to be stamped into the building department.
We cannot receive any,
Can't take it in.
no
because of Article
additional
78.
information. It has to go to the
How
building
do we
department.
get this in the
Why don't you
building?
just
To the building
at
department?
Building department tomorrow,
Building department.
and they'll stamp it in so it becomes part of the record.
Thank you.
Look like the same.
You have
railings.
I think we received we've already received a copy. You've already submitted a copy. Your legal.
Well, there was a memo, but there's a separate one on
That's
the
it?
authorities. No, there's one I just submitted tonight, just on reopening, the law on reopening.
I did see it in here. Let me just double
Just submitted
check.
8 copies.
That's this.
Yes, should we file that with the building department?
I
Yes.
think you should, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Oh, yes. No problem. Yes, you have to go. It's
Next application this evening, it's 200 Hill Street. First driveway gates, LB Nor.
Council?
In the file is a application approving if the decision approving the application as submitted, an affirmative vote on a motion would be to approve the application.
Motion to approve written decision by council.
I make a motion to approve written decision by council for LB Noor, 200 Hill Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next application for exterior alterations as Caliste Enterprises at 36 Main Street.
Although this says closed for written decision, my notes show that the matter was adjourned for all purposes based upon the lack of representation of the applicant.
Okay.
I call it this, ask anybody here tonight to represent the applicant.
Is there a representative here on the application? So it remains closed.
That was
Well, it wasn't closed, it was
Yeah,
adjourned for all
adjourned.
purposes. Antoinette, do you want to?
that was the restaurant.
This is the restaurant. We
approved that.
heard this, and we were in favor of it.
Yeah.
And we were just waiting for the written decision, but I think we were unanimously in favor of it. It was signage only, where
Right.
Barristers is located. It was in blue with gold letters, and a blue background, Mediterranean blue, and it had 4.
You got
This
the
is the
file there?
French,
Do you have the
the
file?
French restaurant, yeah.
It's a French restaurant.
The Charlotte.
I believe we do, yeah. Let me just double check.
Double check that.
Hang on. Can you check this one? Yep, here it is.
Do you wish then to approve it?
Yes, we're still waiting on written decision.
I think we were unanimous on it. It's for simple signage, Bob, and,
I've got right here adjourned, no representative. So whether you'd approved it or not, or waiting for that, that
gentleman
doesn't
was
make a
here, the
difference. So
owner.
if you're in consensus to approve, then I'll write a decision.
Okay.
I will.
Next application, please.
Do you want to adjourn this?
Adjourn, close, a motion to close it for all purposes for decision only.
Make a motion
Close it
to-
for decision only.
Make a motion to close for
Wait,
decision.
wait. Didn't we already do that? So
I
it's.
think you did. And if you did, do it again.
Okay. Make a motion to adjourn for written decision, Felice Enterprises, 36 Main Street.
To be safe.
To be safe.
Seconded, to
All
be
in
safe.
fair. All in
Aye.
favor? Aye. Next application, please.
Harkonnen, I think you pronounced that right. Deeds, 408 First Neck Lane for exterior alterations to guest house.
Decision in the file approving the application as submitted, and affirmative vote on the on the motion would be to approve the application.
Motion to approve, written decision by council.
I make a motion to approve written decision by council for Harkonnen LLC and Atriades LLC, 408 First Neck Lane.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next application is Alejandro Camacho for 42 Foster Crossing for demolition of an existing dwelling and rebuilding on the same footprint. We had a prior approval from ARB conditions. C-Mac, you're taking the house down at this point?
I'll just give you a little background as to why I'm here in front of the board. On June 27, 2012, I was in front of the board for 2 applications for the same property, 42 Foster Crossing. One was for a major alteration and addition to the existing building over there. And then the second one was for the garage. The reason for 2 applications was that the property owners, the Camachos, wanted to phase the project. They weren't in a rush to bring down the building and rebuild at that point, but they did want to have the garage going on and constructed, which is the case. What happened in the past year, we finished the construction of the garage, and they are ready to rebuild the main house. The reason I'm in front of you today is that what we got an approval for was pretty much bringing everything down to the ground level floor frame of the existing building and building what was approved by the ARB on top of that. We are presently asking the board that we basically will be demolishing and putting a basement underneath the existing building for 2 reasons. One is that the existing frame structure is in a really bad shape. We've been looking at that as far as the amount of rot. There's not much to be kept over there. Nothing that was approved by the ARB back in 2012 has changed as far as what will be seen on the exterior of the building. It's the same building. The elevations,
Same
the plans,
footprint?
the same footprint.
You just
Actually,
wanna tear it
all
down
I'm
and-
asking for a new, basically, basement plan to be approved,
So
which
you
is
want an
not
amended certificate of appropriateness for demo, complete demo, including the
correct.
foundation.
Correct. And based on the history of what has happened in this village, I was recommended to come and notify the board rather than go ahead. And I basically do
Same
think that-
footprint, same, basically same elevations, so you're just
Correct.
amending the certificate of appropriateness.
Correct.
To make sure you cover all, just in
Correct.
case. I have no issue with that. Zach, you're a historic consultant, there's nothing changed. Board members, you have any questions as to?
For the record,
initial-
back in 2012, I put a bid in, a proposal for the garage, I think.
Yes.
You guys. But it
Did
was
you
too
win?
expensive. No.
Okay. Any public comment on the application? Unfortunately, it has to
I'm
be.
not involved in this.
It has to be rewritten, or can they amend the written decision? Okay. Has to be rewritten, so we will adjourn, have council prepare a written decision. which will be the amendment to the certificate of appropriateness. At our next meeting, it should be approved.
Thank you very much.
No questions? Motion to close for written decision by council.
I make a motion to close for written decision by council Alejandra Camacho, 42 Foster Crossing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next application, please.
Shabbat for driveway gates and fence. And I have a couple of options here.
Couple of options.
I guess there's only one. I don't
No,
have
this
any
isn't
issues.
it, this isn't it.
I have more options.
How many options do you have?
A lot of options.
I have three more. Since it was canceled, I just kept drawing. I was trying to make it look as, my name is Fran Taubman.
Okay.
And I am supporter and go to the Chabad. I also am an artist. I do a lot of architectural metalwork. I live on Shelter Island, and I work in metal. I do furniture. It's sold.
Can we
in
start
galleries.
first with the one you desire?
Well, I'm just saying that I'm making this pro bono, so that's why I'm the presenter.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify my position.
All right, you want to display the one that you're presenting, where your
I don't
first
have-
choice?
Well, it's in the historic district, and I have photos of up and down the street. There's no real gates there. I don't know if you've all realized, but the Chabad had to completely redo their site plan to conform to a variance, and they put in a parking lot. And what happened is, the entire, it's a huge driveway, it's 24 feet, and it's all exposed, as well as the front of the building. So for security and safety reasons, we have to put a fence up. Have you seen the new?
Security and safety reasons?
Mhm.
All right, we'll just go over the aesthetics.
Talking about children running out, that sort of thing.
I'm talking about children running out and unwanted people coming in.
You've had issue in the past?
We have.
Okay. Is this what you're proposing?
That is what I'm proposing, but I did, so everyone was saying that because it's the historic district, there should be a precedent, so I tried to go up and down the street and take photographs. The only existing gates were pickets, so I did some picket renderings as well. I'm just worried about you guys, it's a huge area of it looking in context to the rest of the neighborhood. Because it's so big, what I did was I tried to proportion it to make it look, you know, small. Because most driveway gates are 12 feet, these are 24 feet. So these are an additional, this is the picket one. And also picket
This
one.
is a
in-
religious center, is it not?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any issues with it.
How are these going to operate?
Motor, electric.
Zach, Hill Street.
Here's
The
another.
Hallmark Historic District entering in.
Yeah, I'm really kind of challenged by the size of that motorized gate.
And the shape.
I would simply suggest that if that had been perceived as a necessary component of the oversized driveway access, parking lot, etc., which is not typical to that neighborhood, then that might have been something that could have been part of the application for the construction of all of that that's been built. It seems to me that it's a bit after the fact to bring a design for something to be added, which is at the street front, which is aesthetically challenging when that was never presumably mentioned when the width of the driveway was presented as essential, because that's a supersized driveway. It's twice as wide as
I think Whitehead
driveways
is as large. There
Does
are.
it have a gate like that?
No.
Okay, so my point is that now having to introduce something constructed at that entrance is after the fact of getting the driveway approved, and perhaps a more modest entrance would have been considered in conjunction with a gate with it.
The entrance was, with the size of the entrance was done for a fire trucks. I mean, it's a huge.
Fine, so, but I'm just saying, no gate was proposed then, which, if that had been an aesthetic challenge to the board then, modifications to the actual width of the entrance would have been part of the discussion.
They can't modify it.
This is an aesthetic issue, and I find that that's excessive for Hill Street. The width,
Mhm.
24 feet of moving gates. seems incongruous to this particular neighborhood. I don't know where all the children are running. That's not an aesthetic issue, but to me.
Well, it's a, you know, we have tremendous security issues, so we really do need to put a gate up.
So security side, you understand this is an aesthetic board first? We
I
understand the precautions that you want to take, and understandably, you want to do whatever it takes to do so. We're just looking at this from an aesthetic standpoint. Hill Street in that particular area itself enters into really the inner workings of the village. It's the gate, the hallmark. It basically, when we're coming in and we're going in off of Hill Street, this is what we're going to be looking at as we enter into the downtown village of Southampton. So we try to be as sensitive as possible with the aesthetics that are in the streetscape and the vernacular that we're riding down Hill Street, going into Job's Lane and going further. So it looks a little busy.
How about this one?
The picket maybe something a little bit more desirable, or a little tamed in terms of taming down the overall. I understand it's still a long, lengthy.
I don't think you can minimize on the 24-foot width, no matter how many design elements you introduce, because it's really excessively large.
So you're saying that you just.
I'm only here to
He's just there
recommend
as a.
level.
He's our historic consultant. His
Okay.
responsibility within the historic district is to give us the expert opinion that we need in order to render our decisions.
Right.
We're still a deciding and voting
Okay.
board.
Have you considered wrought iron for a gate of
I-
that size?
I do wrought iron work, but I was told to make it, the first one I did was.
Transparent wrought iron gates that we look at are encouraged in the village, but nothing that's 24 feet wide.
I don't know what you mean by floral, like wrought iron as in terms.
Not floral, just a straight pattern or so, but I think that.
Something that might disappear?
Something that might disappear, it'd be very thin. The bars could be half an inch, 3/8. The pattern could be very simple, similar to what you have there.
Well,
But
this.
without the solid panels.
Here, this one.
That would be,
That's
yeah,
a lot
that's
closer.
exactly, yeah.
I'd be very happy with that. It's low key, it's elliptical.
See, that defeats the purpose of the
It's
fire.
gradual, and it serves its purpose.
Okay, I'm whatever you guys.
Or wrought iron, something like that, but, you know, you have to consider the size. This is a residential area that had not expected an institution, religious institution, and as the village has worked very closely over the years to satisfy its needs, as well as the needs of the neighbors and so forth. And if wrought iron is a solution that minimizes the impact on the street, that would be a good thing. Certainly the spacing that you show and the lowness or the ellipse is much nicer than just a.
Could you give us a closer look and have,
Yeah.
you have two copies?
I have a big one of that too.
That would be great.
I didn't know whether you guys wanted big or small. Here,
If we could hand it that way, she'll stamp it in and we'll take a look.
across the street is a huge picket fence. This is across the street. It's all picket, I mean, not picket, stockade.
Right, right.
And what we're.
Got it.
Well, also the fence, we want to do a stockade fence with the privet in front, which is what
Behind
looks
the
like.
privet.
Behind the privet, which is what everything else along the
Got
street
it.
has.
Okay.
Fine.
I mean, it's heading in the right direction. The concrete columns, that's, you're proposing that as well?
Yeah, I was trying to make that look like all the other columns. There were big columns all along the street.
I don't think any are concrete.
They're not concrete, they're all brick.
Well, it was
wood.
painted white concrete all around the neighborhood. There's tons of painted white concrete ones. I think actually the.
Brick, I think, is what you're looking at.
No, there's a lot of painted white ones. This is painted concrete right across the street. It's stone, it is, that's what I was.
Can you hand that in? I think that's stone, I don't think that's concrete.
And then you're also proposing lights?
No, those were existing lights taken off the existing lanterns that we had.
on the gate?
We had posts with lights on them, just putting them back. They're traditional
And lights on the gate as well.
Yeah, we had four, yeah.
They're not
I
concrete.
can't tell.
Yeah, they're not, I
It
know
looks
that
like
it's
a
not.
completely different house, though.
This, I don't think this is, they're not showing the rendering of the house. I think they're just looking at the design itself, and they, you know, they did an AutoCAD streetscape, but not necessarily of the structure.
But the scale is probably the same.
It's the scale that they're looking at. So what they're saying is that they're making it a little understated. I would actually go with a smaller or more narrow
Mhm.
picket,
Mhm.
which would really make it more transparent.
And I wouldn't swoop it up in the middle either.
Curtis, could
Just
you
keep
shut
it
this?
I don't know if you'll be able to see this.
Would you like to see it?
Oh, please.
If you have public comments, we'll ask about public while we'll take a look
I
at
just
this.
wanted
Step forward. So,
Very little, Richard Furman, 320 Hampton Road, Southampton. I represent Christine Treant, who lives on Terry Court behind the property. She just asked me to come down tonight to, sort of to observe. I don't think she had any major objection.
Okay.
But I'm gonna report back to her, so I did want to see if there are any changes proposed.
Okay.
That's it?
Zach, what we're saying is
No,
a more
it's-
narrow picket
It's on this one right here.
and not
Would
these.
this be an iron? Is that the proposal?
I was gonna do,
Doesn't look like it's an iron.
it,
I don't
I
know.
was
Iron just
doing-
came out tonight.
I was
Okay.
doing powder coated aluminum for
Okay,
lightness.
powder coated aluminum, which sort of looks like wood. I would only suggest that if it were set farther back, sort of more into the property, I'm sure this meets code, which.
Yeah, it's 24
However,
feet
I think
back.
aesthetically, it would improve it.
To
It
recess
would
it.
change the security issues that are, you know, but I think to kind of push it back into the property might reduce its
Impact.
visual
And maybe not
impact.
push this up in the middle, but
Have you listened to some of the suggestions of the board? More narrow picket, recessed back further, not the, just the.
How much further back, if you just tell me how much further? It's
12 feet.
24 feet now.
8 or 12 feet.
Back?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would take some of the
A
wall.
wrought iron
effect.
with a thin piece would be very nice, or a thinner,
I think she's going
more
powder coated,
transparency and a lighter would be better.
aluminum.
And instead of concrete, a brick which has a texture of a, of a column with brick, has a little fabric in it, and then that painted over, it's what we would rather see than just concrete painted over, so it has texture.
And do you have copies or photos of the lantern that you're using?
It's the existing lantern that
It's there now.
that we had there.
Okay, okay. So
There
you're just
are 4
repurposing
I'm
the,
just repurposing the
Very good.
lanterns.
any questions?
If you can just photograph them and put them as part of the application, that would be better.
So I have to come back.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so.
Making some headway.
Huh?
You're making headway.
So,
We're setting the fence back,
Setting the
8,
fence
10,
back.
12 feet back.
so
Great suggestion.
I'm not sure about what I understand about the wrought iron. I mean, this is a powder coated aluminum, so I can do the picket.
Thinner the better.
Thinner?
Thinner.
Much
Okay.
thinner. Wrought iron is black generally.
Yeah, but you
and
don't.
it's solid.
You want black?
It's, I'm just
I
saying
would
alternates
prefer,
would be great.
just as a board member, I would prefer black.
Me too.
Setback. It does give the security you're looking for and the transparency. It almost blends in with the property. So I think it's less, it would be a less impact to the street.
Because everything else is white. That's what I'm just saying, that I would.
It'll disappear.
So you want, my first craft is wrought iron, so
Okay.
I can do wrought iron. It's not a
Just a
problem.
simple vertical
Just wrought iron
pattern, so it
pickets.
disappears. Yeah,
Very thin.
very thin. Yeah, there's lots of examples. There's one on Gin Lane that goes back. Take a look through the village, you'll see it. And they're all, most of them have brick, unpainted columns that look very attractive.
I must have been looking at different columns, because most of them were painted,
There's
the
3 on,
one next to the,
there's a set
I
on
think you
Gin
may
Lane.
need to get a little closer. It looks painted and it almost looks like a
lot of them are
a
wood.
smooth facade. They're either wood or they're brick. Nine
There's a
times out of
great
10.
example on First Neck Lane on the east side, about 2/3 of the way down on the left side of a brick column and wrought iron gates. There's another one up on Gin Lane
well,
between the.
can I write this
You-
down?
No, you have to go on your own.
Gin-
Gin Lane, if you look around the village, you can't miss it.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
You have any other questions?
No, so I have to come back and present a new design.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, Counsel.
I would ask that you also check in with Dean McNamara, who is the fire marshal, and tell him when you get when your distance is a little bit more formalized, and show this to him and get an opinion letter from him on this, because this is somewhat affecting the site plan. And that's why that driveway is as wide as it is because of emergency and fire equipment. And he will be able to let you know what the state of the art is as to accessing those buildings, with a gate on them.
Okay.
I want to do that next.
He may actually insist that it is wrought iron, so it has additional strength, things like that. Anyway.
Okay, thank you.
You're asking to adjourn?
Wait a minute, is there any public comment? Okay, you have information, you've been given information, you've given some instruction. At this time, you're asking this board to adjourn so that you can gather your information?
Okay.
that a yes?
So, huh?
Is that a yes?
Oh, yeah, that's a yes.
So
And-
motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn.
And so
Make a
when
motion
is-
that we approve the applicant Prabhat at 214 Hill Street, request to adjourn to our next meeting.
Okay. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. That would be in 2 weeks,
2
to
weeks.
answer your question, on the 28th.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next application, please.
Next application is 450 Gin Lane, two-story, single-family dwelling.
Good evening, Melissa Dedovich, Peconic Environmental Associates. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. I'm also joined by two members of Blaise McCoy's office, Mr. McCoy himself, Chris Pernice, who will be presenting the project tonight, as well as Ian Hamburg from Chris LaGuardia Landscape Design to discuss the project.
My name is Chris Pernice. I'm the project architect for 450 Gin Lane. I represent Blaise McCoy Architects. Today I'd like to present to you this house that we have been developing and walk you through our design intent and our process. We have put together some packets to help.
It would help if you start with that.
Yes.
We know you like the mini plans.
Love the mini plans.
And we have the same, what you're going to receive there is blown up here as well.
So they're equal?
Yes.
And your file set is the same as these, as a licensed architect?
There is
Changes?
one minor change to the entry stair, which we will, to the entry stair. You'll see in the set when we get to that plan that we have shown what was in the set and what we're now proposing.
Any other changes
Zach?
besides the entry?
That would be it.
See.
If you open to the last page in your packet, we will look at the site plan, which demonstrates the challenges imposed on this structure due to many reasons, which include that we are a beachfront property, which has a dune crest, which requires a setback from there. And on the front of the house, we have wetlands, which require another setback. On top of that, we are in a VE zone, which requires the house to be raised, as you all know. Because of that, we currently have a 2.12 acre lot, and we are proposing a 9,112 square foot lot coverage.
Sorry, just out of curiosity, are you keeping the cabana, the elevated cabana on the crest of the dune on the east part of the property?
Yes, we don't plan on
Are you
touching that.
that?
No. The only items that we are presenting are a main house at this time, in which case, if you look at the site plan, you'll notice at the north, so on your page it may be offset. So to the left, you have Gin Lane with the Old Town Pond. Due to that, we have the wetlands back here, which pushes our house back.
How many feet are you from the north elevation to the middle to Gin Lane?
We are approximately 110 feet to the road edge.
Right.
Varies obviously from which point on the house.
Got it.
So we do have a...
No, we're actually 81.4 feet from the house to Gin Lane.
To Gin Lane?
Yes, right here.
Okay.
Yeah, to the wetlands, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
So you're 80 feet to the wetland setback?
No, we're 81.4 to Gin Lane.
Right.
Then the wetland setbacks are shown, we've already, just so the board is aware of
Crossing,
this.
right?
Correct, we
Yeah,
received, just so the board's aware, and I hate to interrupt it, that we
Yeah.
just received a zoning board of appeals wetland special permit for the work that's gonna be done on this
Got
property
it. So
also.
your envelope is legal.
Correct, the envelope is legal. In fact, the proposed house is actually set back further from the wetlands than the existing house that is approved to be
Right.
demolished.
And are you further or closer to the seaward side or landward side of the dune?
Actually, at 100 feet, we're a
Pretty
little
static.
closer. We're right in the envelope. It's a very
Yep.
challenging lot. We're at the 100-foot setback.
All right, thank you.
Due to these constraints, the proportions of the house and the massing of the house take shape due to these challenges that we have. Because of that, if we move to the elevations, you'll start to see how the house starts to mass out. I believe on your page...
You have it labeled south, north, east, and west. So
Correct.
we'll start with your south elevation.
So A200 elevations. Number 2 is the front elevation that you see from the road.
Which is the north elevation.
The north elevation. From the road, you will see the house is elevated up on a wood slat base. We are proposing this base to be a dense material. Right now we're thinking Ipe, which we have a material sample. Natural stained finish. Very durable, dense wood, as you may know. Holds up well to the salty air around there. As it ages, it starts to turn a little gray. That will be the only wood on the exterior that we propose. So all the wood elements will be similar in color.
Okay, so those are the vertical slats that we see on the...
Correct. To the, I guess, your right-hand side.
Yes.
There's vertical slats up in the mass of the house, which is surrounded by a stucco frame. The stucco that we're proposing, we have 2 samples here. On my right is the finish that we're looking for, a hand-smooth finish. On the left is the color range that we're going in. Our reasons for this color is to try to blend a little more into the natural landscape, a little sandy beach landscape.
Excuse me, what is the foundation?
But the underneath.
The foundation.
Sure.
It's built
Well,
upon
it's a whole
piles.
story high. So
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be the EPA slats. A slat.
And they would be laid horizontally.
Those would be horizontal. As you move up to the second story, they turn vertical.
I see.
Can you do me a favor? Can you move that?
Question I have for your
And
consultant.
the color that you're going with. Wow.
Just to explain to you, it's actually in a VE 17 zone. So you have VE plus, 17 plus 2, which goes to your lowest horizontal, then usually about 2 or 3 feet to the first floor elevations. The first floor elevation is going to be at 21. But I also want to note that because it's a flat roof structure in the village, it's only allowed to be 27 feet high. It's not going to be 35 feet high. So this is actually going to be 8 feet.
But your elevation starts, yeah.
Correct, but because it's flat roof, instead of being 35 feet high, we're at 27 feet high for the height of the house. This is actually 8 feet lower, the ridge of this roof, than it would be if it was a traditional house.
The one elevation I don't see here, Melissa, is you have the top of the roof at 46. What is the top of the proposed chimney height in relation to the top of the roof?
It would be to meet code.
What is that?
3 feet above.
Just 3 feet?
Just
Yep.
3 feet, and nothing
Okay,
here
so
that needed
you're
variance.
50 feet tall here from view, essentially because of FEMA.
Correct, and if it was a traditional house, it would be an additional 8 feet high.
So you'd be almost 60 feet.
To the ridge and then include a chimney.
Mhm.
So-
You would be almost 60 feet to
Correct.
comply with FEMA.
Correct.
Right. But that doesn't necessarily mean you need to have a 2.5-story house, though. You
Not
just have to
2.5.
have the bottom of the girders at 11 feet above mean high tide, right?
No, you have to be,
E-zone?
you'd have the same starting base, because you'd be at 17 plus 2, which would be 19.
Right.
It's the lowest horizontal, and then the height of the house itself is allowed to be 35 feet with a peaked ridge. With a flat roof, you're only allowed to have a height, total height of 27 feet from that base, from that plus 2.
Got it. Another question for you. Do you have a sky plane pyramid diagram from your east and west neighbors?
I know we did that, we definitely comply. I don't know if it was submitted as part of the ARB application, but we can
It's a
definitely
guideline.
provide one to you.
Okay. Okay. And what is the height, just for curiosity, dunes change and everything, but what is the crest of dune elevation above sea level versus the top of flat roof proposed?
Right now, the crested dune looks like it's about 20 feet.
So this will be about 30 feet above that.
To the top of the chimney.
36.
36. So I would love to see an angle of attack that we've done on Meadow Lane before from the public right of way, which is not just obviously
Wouldn't be
Gin
s-
Lane, but the beach and the ocean.
From the beach, how far is it? Wait a minute, it's,
Well, we did an angle attack on Calvin Klein's house. We did an angle attack on 6 other applications showing the
What the view would be from
what
the
the view
beach?
is from the public right of way.
Yeah.
And I think in this case that this house could be legal if it was lower, smaller. I think that's a very important part. You know, we have a house that we're in consideration of right down the street.
We also have some renderings that would probably be very helpful with this also, so.
Brian, do you have any comments?
I'm just digesting it all.
Okay. Esther?
At the same page Brian is.
Christine?
No, I have no comments.
Okay.
I think it would be helpful, we also have the landscape architect here, because
Well,
currently.
got a ton of questions about about the landscape.
I have a
Zach?
question
Oh,
about the
go
CAD drawings, sorry. They feel very two-dimensional to me, so if you could give me a little bit more depth on these drawings.
We have renderings, that's why, would you like us to present them now? That would be, if it would be helpful.
I think it would be very helpful to me personally.
We have more mini plans too.
Yes. So we have big sets of renderings here, as well
think it
as
looks
small
like an
sets that you
office
guys can take
building.
a look at.
Mm-hmm.
This is the north elevation with all the landscaping in place. You will see the driveway in your foreground. We're covering a bit of the facade with some trees.
Yeah, what? Is that a breezeway? Really?
Underneath, it passes straight through, correct.
Yeah. Sorry? Yeah.
So you're looking at the north?
Yes,
Zach?
this is the north. We have a few other views as well. So this should be your first page. Backtrack on here, as we get to the back, you'll start to see the stone material, and I have a sample here of the color palette that we're looking for the stone.
Can you turn that towards the camera? And that's 58 feet tall.
This is accurate to the drawings, correct? Yes. So here it should give you a good idea of the color palette. Transparency through the front. The massing's been broken up.
You may be right, Ham.
Thank you.
You may be right. It would be very helpful to see a line of sight from all right-of-ways and to see a comparison in terms of size to the adjoining neighbors to make sure what the impact is at scale. Please add in there also line of sight of the landscape plan that you're proposing to see what the visual impact will be after landscape is basically installed.
Okay.
You're talking about a topographical model of the site with the house scaled on it correctly and an angle of attack, and also for the view visible. And I think in this house, if we would reserve the right to request a balloon test, the elevation after that information.
I'd like to make a correction. The top of the roof is actually 46 feet. I don't know where 50.
I saw that.
Okay.
And
I've
then you
heard
have an
58.
additional 3 feet on top of that.
But 46 plus 3 is
49.
49.
Yeah, no, I got it. Plus your 2 additional feet that you're allowed to raise that
Freeboard.
thing up. What's that?
Freeboard.
Freeboard, right? So that would be 51 feet. So we're arguing over a foot. But
No, actually, no.
Anyway.
It's from 19.
you know, it's big enough so that a viewpoint is what I would need. And
I
very
I
public-
don't know if we go as far as the balloon test. I'm not.
Standard stuff, you know. But
I've been in front of this board for 20 years. I've never had to do the balloon test for this board.
Oh, we've had it done before. It's
Sugarman,
just
we
that-
did a balloon.
I did Sugarman, and we didn't do a balloon test for
You
Sugarman.
did you know what? You did a full wood mock-up.
We did a model for you.
Wood mock-up in the field.
We did
Model would be
yes.
great,
A
too.
model we can
But
do.
I
a
think in the
model would be
meantime,
great.
angle of
Okay, that would be
attacks would be
yeah.
terrific.
Okay.
But I think you did a model, a physical model, but I think the Sugarmans were nice enough also to, I think Ed Bulgen built that house, and.
Yes, he
right?
did.
Yeah, and I think Ed put up a full-scale size imitating the ridge lines.
I
You
think,
remember
no,
that?
what I think we did for Sugarman, we did a nice, really nice model. And
You
then
did a
that's what we
very
did.
nice
But
Yeah.
it turned out great, so I'd like to see that kind of.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
Would you like
Also,
to?
the stone in the rear, you have a sample of that?
It's straight.
Correct.
So that's the stone.
Yes.
Color.
It's
That's
the
the actual
color.
stone.
That's the actual stone.
No.
The stones in question.
Yeah, I'm saying because your rendering doesn't.
That's the color palette that we're going for. The actual stone will obviously depend on strength tests and how it holds up to the weather.
Is that limestone?
That is a Valder's limestone right there. It's an option right now.
Elders is very strong, very
Yes.
strong. The other thing is, the dunes do shift on a topographical map. The crest of dunes, seaward side, landward side of the dunes, if they can indicate those points as they stand now, those are pretty much going to stay static, I believe, correct?
I believe the crest of Dune is going to stay static down there. It's
Yeah.
pretty. It survived the nor'easter. It
I
survived
agree,
Sandy. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be difficult.
Oh, no,
What I'm
it's
saying is we
okay.
have a public right-of-way that's substantial, and
There's actually, if you look at the top, there's actually a wide plateau of 20 on top of that dune. So.
of which you have a cabana sitting on.
Yeah,
Existing
Zach, any
non-conforming.
questions?
Looking forward to
Information.
Yeah. Guys, board, any questions?
I just have a comment.
Sure.
I think the marriage of the materials together and the design is beautiful, and I understand the concept of having something like this on the beach, but I think it looks like an office building. It looks too boxy to me. That's just how I'm looking at it.
Well, is this something where the vegetation? That's what. Would you right now? If you've been down the site, there's really nothing down there. Perhaps we should have Mr. Hamburg discuss what the things we're doing. I mean, one of the things we've had to do for the ZBA is do a whole buffer in the front, and perhaps Ian could address that.
Ian Hamback, I'm with LaGuardia Design. Just walk you through the site plan quickly. This is the approved site plan for the ZBA. So as you can see, this is north, this is south. I'll set it here.
I actually can't see it, no.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm tall enough. I can hold
Here,
it for you.
I'll hold it.
So this was the wetland buffer that Melissa was just referencing. In between Old Town Pond and the house, we've introduced a pervious driveway, and between the pond and that driveway, the entire area has been dedicated to a native vegetated wetland buffer.
Can we see an attack from the pond as well, looking south? From the skate place where everybody skates and the public town
How are
pond?
they going to walk on the pond in the middle of summer?
You've canoed on ponds, you've kayaked on things for us before.
I have.
Yes, you have. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But there's no houses
Okay,
that look
guys.
at the.
It's
I'm
not
not kidding, because that it's Old Town Pond for a reason. It's the oldest town, it's recognized as oldest pond, rather, in the town.
I'll make a deal. What I'll do is we'll have an attack if
No
you're
one's
driving
asking you to
down
canoe
Old Town
into.
Pond.
We're not asking you to canoe this.
Oh, no, thank
That
you.
canoe will put you down low.
Yeah, Chris will canoe in there, okay? Anyway,
But, okay.
so all
Proceed.
four
Just please proceed.
angles,
Okay.
particularly from the public right-of-way on Gin Lane, but set back from Gin Lane, so the
Mhm.
access is maybe from Soros's house that
Gotcha.
way, Okay, and also from Wyandanch sort of direction, that
Mhm.
way?
And from the beach and
And
coming
from-
down.
Mostly
Jan-
from the beach is what I'm concerned from.
Right,
But the pond is a very, it's a very close place to the neighborhood's heart there, and it's a place where everybody.
Can you proceed?
Ice skates and so forth. but no,
To that
okay.
point, I should note that there's an existing privet hedge between the road and the house, which is also going to help buffer
Mhm.
visually. We actually have privet hedge proposed on the western side of the property, and there's an existing mature privet hedge between the residence to the east and the proposed residence. Again, on the western side, we proposed Hollywood junipers, which will take that salt exposure in conjunction with London plane trees, again, to give that visual barrier between the two properties. And we propose strategically located London plane trees on the eastern side, again, to help give that visual separation. Should note that the existing lot is just privet and lawn right now, a number of structures in disrepair which are being removed.
What are the height of the trees?
Well, the ocean's going to dictate that, as you probably know, but I would say in the 20 to 25 foot range if we're lucky. Again, they're going to top out at where the wind will allow them to.
But when you bring them on site, how big will they be?
20 to 25.
Okay.
Question again, the plateau, the parking area there, what is the elevation of the flat part of the pervious plateau parking area and the relation to the crown of the road? How high is that?
We actually had to, it's funny you should say that. One of the reasons why it's dropped down low is, and we didn't have, we can actually provide the
That would be
grading
great.
plan. We have the grading plan.
The topo should include that.
Yeah, we
Okay.
actually dropped it down, what was it, 450 cubic yards? Originally, we'd
Yeah.
raised the whole site up so you could drive up and park, and we added the stairs and a little retaining wall so that we wouldn't have to bring as much fill within the wetland setback.
Right.
So-
But architecturally, what it does is does it appear as very steep? Does it appear as low? That's what I think the
Quite
angle
flat.
act will show us.
Quite flat.
It's about a 2-foot grade change between
Yeah.
Gin Lane and that parking area.
Mhm.
It's not a wall
No.
that you're creating in a hill.
No.
Okay. So again, that's where I'm
Mhm.
standing, Mr. Chair. I don't have any more questions.
Ryan, comments?
No, I'm just gonna watch and see what happens.
Okay.
I'm struggling with a boxy modern house overlooking the pond on that block. That's where I am.
Okay. Any public comment on the application?
Ask that again.
Any public comment on that application? Wake up. All right, quite a bit of information was given to us this evening. Quite a bit of information was asked of you. So you, at this time, you're asking this board to give you some time or grant you time. So you're asking for an adjournment for that time.
Correct. 2 weeks, next meeting would be fine.
I'm sorry?
Next meeting would be fine if we can get out.
Yeah, you're open, so it's,
Thank
yes.
you.
Motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn.
I make a motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn 450 Gin Lane, SH LLC.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Very welcome. Next application, please.
David and Sylvia Hermer, 51 Pond Lane. Construction of two-story single-family dwelling.
Blaze, you want to take this? Yeah, thanks.
So just for clarity, excuse me, you're the project architect, just for clarity, you are providing a model, correct? A hard model?
A physical.
You can-
Yes.
A physical model on a
Of the building.
topographical landscape?
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennis.
Is the applicant present?
David and Sylvia Hermer?
I'm their lawyer. Southampton Building Services, the engineering, they're supposed to be here to do the presentation. I don't know where they are.
All right, well, hold off a second call.
I'll call
This is
them.
the last on.
Last application for the historic district, until second call, First application, non-historic.
LMR Associates, 89 Hampton Road, for construction of a two-story building. You have a building, a couple of buildings down from there, right? Tim, how are you?
Mr. Hogue, I'm wonderful, thank you. Mr. Chairman, board members, Tim Rump from Maris Design.
You are now the licensed landscape
The
architect
record
on
landscape
record.
architect for LMR Associates, yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And this is your new design.
This is the design that the client has actually approved as of 11 o'clock this morning. We've been working back and forth with our client to satisfy his needs as well as interpreting the needs, and part of the discussion we had at the last meeting. Elm Street, Hampton Road, the new building. This site plan represents the exact site plan that was Squires and Holden.
And George
has been
Lynch.
approved, and very different from George Lynch's. Okay? George Lynch's plan didn't have what the Squires and Holden plan had on it.
Okay.
In terms of the pedestrian access.
Right.
There's also a 6-foot fence proposed along the northern property line.
Okay.
Part of the changes from Mr. Lynch's plan was we are now proposing a 10 to 12 foot cryptomeria line of trees along that northern property line. Originally that was shown as I believe a Japanese holly on Mr. Lynch's plan. What we've done also is had to redesign the foundation plantings around the building to match the new footprint. That was different from the Lynch plan.
Sorry, what was the height of the new?
With the cryptomeria.
10 to 12 feet.
10 to 12 feet?
Yes. And then the 6-foot fence on the property line side of those cryptomeria.
Is that type of fence chain? You say
It
fence?
would be a stockade fence.
Stockade fence.
With the, as per code, with the good side out towards the neighbor. We're proposing a Japanese holly hedge, roughly 30 inches tall along Elm Street as well as Hampton Road, to do the similar thing that we did at the B&B Bank, which is to reduce the visual impact of the cars that are in the parking lot and that traverse the travel way and the drive-up window. And we've kept some of the same plant palette that Mr. Lynch's plan did. Again, more residential in character. We're using crepe myrtle, we're using some hydrangeas, that kind of thing. So that's where we are at this point.
That's your presentation for your landscape plan, correct?
Yes.
Are there any changes to the building or structure at all?
No, the building is as the board expressed its approval of last time.
Board members, we had a presentation now at the last meeting. We had some issues, there was some discussion, especially with regards to the neighbor, which is just to the north. Making sure that his or her privacy was addressed in the landscape plan, which you're saying that based on that, the 10 to 12 feet, which is going to be a year-round tree, correct?
Yes, it'll be an evergreen tree.
Evergreen. And also the stockade fence, which the good part is facing out, is your remedy to assist with their privacy, correct?
Correct. Part of that too is these are the locations. There's an existing garage here, plus the south end of the house that was not included on that other plan.
Okay. Any public comment on the application? Please step forward.
Hi, my name's Noreen Hawbert, and I live on 18 Elm Street, directly across the street from where this is being proposed. And I would respectfully like to request that the hedge along Elm Street be taller than what they are proposing, 6 to 8 feet, evergreen, to block the parking lot.
What is the height of the hedge?
30 inches.
30 inches.
And I also have a question, and that is, with the address being Hampton Road, does that imply a Hampton entry?
I'm sorry?
With the address being Hampton Road for this proposed building?
Oh, okay.
Does that imply a Hampton entrance?
That's not before this board.
Okay,
That's not within our jurisdiction.
okay. How about the removal of trees in order for this entrance to be?
Well, they
I
are
believe that's
presenting
being
a landscape
proposed.
plan now, and the landscape plan is submitted is what they're saying is going to be the project as a whole. So if you're disagreeing with the landscape plan or any features other than the hedge, then you can make your argument for that, but this is what they're presenting for this evening.
Okay.
Do you have any other comments?
And lighting, is that part of this conversation at this point?
We have discussed lighting. There is a
lighting plan?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you ever get a chance, or were you able to foil the file or look through the file at the building department?
No, I'll do that.
Yeah, I would suggest you do that and have the parties in the building department walk you through the file and
Okay.
show you the different, both the elevation, the landscape. Also, there is a survey showing where the lanterns and lighting will be, and that way you'll be better familiar with what's being presented.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
No problem.
Can I just say one thing while you're
Yes.
here? Please.
Go ahead.
Thank you. The lighting was paid attention to. There are two carriage lights on the Elm Street side. The bank required lighting is on the west elevation.
Okay.
There are village trees that are indicated there. Are you moving any of the current village trees on the Elm Street side? And would you be open to increasing the plantings from 30-inch to higher to 4 feet, as an example, on the residential or prevalent residential side, which is the Elm Street side?
I think
Because I know Bridgehampton National Bank really came into itself, not the architecture of the building, but rather the landscape, and it took a few extra years to do. If we could accelerate that along the gateway into another historic district, it would be quite nice. And I know you need to keep it down to a degree, but is there a compromise? You've done a beautiful job. So the questions I have are the village trees being taken down because of the access, in any case, and secondly, on the Elm Street side, since you are fronted on Hampton Road, more or less, can we increase the height on both Hampton Road and on Elm Street, but primarily, would it be okay if we, not would it be okay, but can we ask to raise the height of those?
I think we had that discussion last meeting with Chairperson Highsmith, and the concern is it's a commercial structure, and we did not want to camouflage it from the people who would want to come to the bank. And Tim worked on BNB, and I think he's matched the same hedges that are around
So
BNB.
30 inches at its peak, and how long will it grow?
They will be planted at 30 inches. And I think the plant material that we've chosen will look better than what's at B&B, because if you look at the Ilex glaber, the inkberry is kind of scrawny at the bottom. This is a Japanese holly, which is a more ornamental tree that'll be more of a hedge.
And what are the on-centers, Tim?
They're going to be 3 feet on center.
Can we put that to 18 on center on the Elm Street side?
You know, if you look at the B&B site,
yeah,
and the way that we packed, we were asked to
Too
pack
crowded.
in. It's starting to fail.
Got it, because it's too packed.
It's too packed in. So I'd rather, you know, we're showing them to be 30 inches at planting height. I don't see a problem with going to 4 feet along Elm Street if the board would like that. I don't see a problem.
That would be a help. And then the other question is the village trees.
Well, there was one tree that's shown on the Squire survey as well, is the one that's in the northeast corner of the property that we need to get our access.
Okay. Now, so that tree is coming out for your access. Have you made have you had any informal discussions with the trustees about trying to get a more mature or larger caliper tree to replace that?
No, we haven't.
Can you do that?
We could.
Okay.
We can talk. I mean, I don't know.
Doesn't have to ask.
Well, they do it. They actually will do it. Michael Irving or any of the trustees or the mayor will try to encourage a larger tree there. They have regular calipers that are quite small.
Yeah, but with regards to this landscape plan, what you're proposing here, so that we understand exactly what's being proposed. You're saying 30 inches, but you're willing to go to 4 feet? Is that what you're saying?
Okay. I would be in favor
I had
of
seen a
that.
previous plan where it was 4.5 feet along Elm Street. That was my understanding.
Yes, it was. That was a previous plan that I was asked to take over because the landscape architect's no longer here.
I think a lot of the people who live on that street aren't aware that it's coming down.
What?
That they're actually lowering it now, because it was originally 4.5 feet.
Okay, so just so we understand, you're proposing 30 inches.
Yes.
Are you saying that you're able to go 4 feet?
Yes, we are.
So you're proposing 4 feet?
Now we can.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Let's go for 5. Can we go for 5?
I'd like
No, we're not
6.
going to do that. We're not going to do
We're
that.
not gonna raise, yeah.
I
it's just
think
not-
our client
Okay.
is so
6.
at the point, you know,
We're at 4 feet at
It
a
was
peak.
4.5, and that's what the people on that street
If you could
understand it
just
to
hear
be.
me, we're at 4 feet at a peak of full mature,
It's going to be pruned to a 4-foot height
and remain.
and remain at that height.
Okay.
But it will fill in.
Yes, it
and
will.
It'll give you the
It'll be a
buffer
much-
necessary so you won't have the
And
lights
a much
coming
better
through.
screen than I believe the screen at B&B is now.
And
So
Tim, I
as,
see.
as the licensed architect, you were able to draw and make the corrections of 4 feet on the landscape plan, correct?
We have not submitted, this was a plan, a conceptual plan to present to you tonight.
Okay.
We'll make the changes and then submit the planting plan to the building department, so it becomes part of the file.
Okay.
And give me till Wednesday, please, to do that.
Very good.
Okay. The angle that's on the corner there, is that pedestrian or grass? Or
That
it
is,
for the
that
point
is
of-
that is a low ground cover.
Is that for signage?
No, that is for corner clearance site distance. That is required by the village.
Yes.
Interesting.
I was going to ask that question.
Become a very busy corner.
It's becoming
It's
extremely
very,
busy
very
corner.
busy.
Extremely busy.
Yes.
And that was a change that we made from the Lynch plan.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
And there will be, I know there's limited parking down Elm now. How?
Yeah, I believe the parking starts actually
Starts-
back here somewhere.
Okay. Well, it's supposed to start back there.
Supposed to.
Yeah. Did you have any other questions?
No. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other public comment? Anything further from the board? You have any issues with the landscape plan?
None.
We've had no discussion or any further development on the structure.
I think the structure's fine as it was changed. I
Okay.
think the applicant has turned this application around both on the landscape and on the architectural side to a good position for me to vote on.
Okay. What we could do is we can close for written decision this evening, pending your submission of the revised landscape plan, and the council can prepare that at the next meeting upon receipt of
This is
that.
non-historic.
It's not historic.
Oh, it's
We can vote
it's
on this
not,
tonight.
But they
but they don't have
want
it.
the final documentation submitted for the vote.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, no further public comment. Request of the board to adjourn.
Yes.
Motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn.
Make a motion that we approve the applicant LMR Associates' request to adjourn to our next meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. The Pond Lane application,
I spoke to my the property
Application,
owner.
I'm sorry, just recalling, is Sylvia, David and Sylvia Hermer, 51 Pond Lane.
I spoke to the property owner. The architect was supposed to be here. She tried calling him. We can't get in touch with him, so I just asked for an adjournment
David, you
next date.
need a little more time on this, or?
Yes.
Okay.
The
well, I
next
mean,
meeting.
are they on their way? You want to
No.
wait till the end of the
No,
meeting?
they're not picking up their cell phones, so I'm not
Okay.
sure what the
Want
mix-up
to give it
was.
another 10 minutes or something?
No, she called them and said to respectfully request an adjournment.
All right. Motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn.
I make a motion that we approve the applicant,
Thank you. I'm sorry for the confusion.
where are we?
David and
David
Sylvia.
and Sylvia Hermer.
Hermer.
You have a
Second.
different one. So.
David and Sylvia Hermer on Pond Lane. Request to adjourn to our next meeting. Oh, okay, that's right.
It's been moved and
Second.
all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, next application, non-historic.
David Remlin,
That's right.
52 Woolley Street.
Is the applicant present? 52 Woolley? Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn the applicant David Rimland at 52 Woolley Street to our next meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next application, please.
I'm not even going to try it.
Thomas L. Gagnon at 1190 Meadow Lane for
Driveway
driveway gates.
Is the applicant present?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. You have the affidavits. Mr. Chairman, I have Steve Naroda from my office as well. You want to hand those affidavits in, please? This is for 1190 Meadow Lane. House is under construction at this point.
2-inch pickets, 4-inch spacing?
Yes.
You don't have any issue by me. Board members, the other.
What are the
Let-
columns, Tim?
Columns are a masonry pier. It's going to match the stone that's at the base and in the walls that we've built, and the base of the base of the house as well.
Yeah, nice.
I'm sorry.
No issues.
Meeting, Bo?
I think I could let go.
No. Go back. We'll sit there.
Sorry, Bo.
Where are you going? Where are you going? No. Not cool.
I'm sorry?
Really?
We're at Historic District.
We're out of the historic district, yes.
See you later.
So you just giving up on us?
No, I've never given up.
Go get a cheeseburger or something.
All right, back to business, I'm sorry, back to business.
Yeah.
I have no issue with the application.
Save it.
Ham, do you have any issue with the application?
No, I do not.
Esther?
I'm fine. Very good looking.
Christine?
No, I'm
Nice
fine.
job, Tim.
Thank you.
Any public comment on the application? Motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the application of Thomas Anglanayan
Oganian.
Kingdom at
Second.
1190 Meadow Lane.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next application, please.
46 McGee.
Good evening. Anthony Vermandois, 68 Union Street. This property's on, it's a flag lot, currently undeveloped flag lot on McGee Street. You may recall a couple of months ago you approved the project at 48 McGee Street, which is the street property and directly in front of this flag lot of 46 McGee Street. The properties were bought at the same time by the same owner, but they are legally separate properties, and I believe they always have been. So we're proposing a single-family, two-story house on the property. Just to describe it briefly, due to the shape of the property, it's basically an L-shaped house. It's fairly long in both directions, but we compensated for that by keeping the ridge height very low, relatively low. At its highest point, it's 28 feet 7 inches, and with some 1.5-story and 1-story wings opening off of it.
Brian?
No, I have no issues with it. I think it's a very handsome house.
Got in trouble for saying handsome last time.
No, sorry.
I think you get in trouble for that.
Pretty.
I think that was so said. Ham, comments?
I think it looks stunning and beautiful. and
Okay.
Pretty. I like it. It fits
Esther?
in the
I have no
fabric of the
issues.
neighborhood, all those things. It's nice.
Christine?
Thank you.
Administration's nice, materials.
Christine?
One question.
Yep.
One question. What is your chimney?
Brick veneer.
Can you make it real?
I'd have to talk to the client about the budget, but I mean, if that's the only thing, I don't think they'd have a big deal. No.
What would you do it in a jumbo double D or clay brick or a Danish blend?
Yeah, like a Danish blend, is what we usually do. Yeah.
Williamsburg, something like that.
Do we have samples of your materials?
No, only because they're all natural materials. Cedar shingle roof, just left natural.
Trim is painted white.
Trim is painted white. Wood trim, wood windows, all painted white.
I'd like to see the chimneys being solid instead of veneer. Not super critical, but it would be nice.
Okay.
If she was on order joint.
I'll talk to them about it. If it is an issue, and I don't think it is, we'll
I would
get
agree
back
with
to you.
him.
Okay. All right.
Any public comment on the application? Please step forward. If you can leave way for it.
Michael Jury on at 159
If you
Bishop
can
Lane, which is
leave
due-
way so he can speak, please.
Oh, sorry.
which is I
Out of
think,
the way.
east of a portion of the property. I'm sure ultimately I won't have any objections, and I'm happy this is happening. But I would like to have a chance to review the plans and maybe the landscape plans as well. I don't know if I'm premature to ask that question, but That's what I'd like to do.
Well, there's no landscape plan, and this board hasn't requested that there be one. It's the discretion of this board to ask for one, so it's not necessarily that it's a requirement. In terms of the plans itself, if you need 5 minutes to take it out in the hallway and take a look at it,
Sure.
we'll give you that time.
Okay.
But the file has to come right back. And that way, because this is your first time seeing it, and you're located where?
Due east of a portion of the property.
How many lots?
Right next to it.
Right next door. So you're the neighbor most impacted by the structure, right?
I think so, probably,
All right.
yeah.
If you can give him just a
Yeah, I
copy
think
of that,
you
we'll
better
give you
keep
5
an eye on
minutes.
Sure.
And if you can, do you have a copy in your file?
Yeah, I have it.
I prefer that you use your copy, and that way this stays in the file.
Does that
Yes,
match
can you
the
just go
file set?
outside with him?
It's exactly the same.
Why don't you take him outside and give him 5 minutes?
Sure.
Discuss it for 5 minutes.
Haven't been taken outside for long.
And we'll do a recall. Thank you. Next application, please.
Next application is Paolo Alavian, 20 Little Plains Road.
Sure.
Yes.
Tom Pedrazi, architect for the applicant. I also have the owner, Antonia Alaviana, with me. As you can see by the model, it's a gambrel house that we're proposing. We are keeping the existing gambrel house, which is very small. I've got some pictures of you. So it's a not even 1,100 square foot gambrel on the property, and the client really liked what they've done to it, interior renovations, and it was really kept up very well. So it's still got a good amount of life to it. And what we're doing is we're basically adding a 2,022 plus square foot 2-story gambrel house to it. We have the funeral home on this side, and we have the
How many
bank
square
on
feet
this
is the
side.
addition?
I believe it's like 2,400.
Okay. And the size of the square footage of the house right now?
I think it's probably just about 1,200 square feet.
Okay.
And you can see that what we're
You're troubling it.
well, my son likes to say that we're putting a large house onto a little addition.
That's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
So maybe he's got a sensibility, but we really didn't want to tear down what was there, because I guess it would be a negative energy for my client. They wanted to keep it. They liked the style. They liked the gambrel.
I'm sorry, you said the additional square footage that you're adding is how much?
2,100.
I think it's
2,400?
That's the footprint, that's not the square footage.
No, that's the total square footage
Total square
That's-
footage is,
of the house, of the addition.
it's 20, you're adding 2,400 square feet to an 1,100 square foot house?
To 1,100.
So your
square
total
foot.
is, if my math is right,
3,500.
3,500 square feet.
Just
That's
about.
the footprint, that's not.
No, that's a total square foot. That's the gross. That's the total
First
square
and
footage.
second floor?
First and second
Right.
floor.
Okay.
That can't be.
Do you have a survey showing the
That's the GFA.
existing footprint and the proposed?
There should be in that set of drawings on the first sheet.
Do we have small scale drawings?
No.
Small sets?
No, I didn't prepare small
So is
scale.
the pool is to the east, correct?
This is basically directed. This is north-south.
Right, so can
this
you give me the
north-
old, can you turn it this way just for a second out of curiosity?
This
So that's what I'm
this
looking at
portion
from
with
Little
this little
Plains.
shed area is the existing house.
Good, okay.
We're
So the
adding
tower-
we're adding a tower, which is the
And a
turret, which
gambrel.
is the interior stair, which actually helps sort of create, a sort of a connection piece.
And the funeral parlor is to the south, or
Funeral
to your
parlor is
right.
over here,
Huh?
so we're
And
kind of turning our back.
Bridgehampton National Bank is to your
Is
left.
right
So
here.
you're sandwiched between two
So
commercial
we're
buildings, or-
basically half commercial
Mhm.
and half residential on this piece of property. And what I'm trying to do is I'm really trying to build more on the residential portion because of the bank and its energy and the funeral home over here. So really.
What kind of energy you get
we're-
from there?
Excuse me?
What kind of energy are you getting from the funeral home?
Well, we're really turning our back to the funeral
Are you
home.
right on the border of the funeral home, or is there another lot?
No, the funeral home's right
You're
here.
either way, you have commercial property on either side.
We're squeezed between two commercial
And your
properties.
town hall is directly across the street.
Town hall's directly across the street.
Okay, and to your south is your pool I'm sorry, to your east is where your rear yard is,
Right.
correct? Okay.
So this is basically the rail yard. This is
So
an
if I were in
existing pool.
Bridgehampton National Bank's parking lot, I could walk right over there and use your pool?
Yeah.
Well,
Perfect.
the whole, really what was required here was they needed a master bedroom suite. So that's gonna basically be
Okay.
on this second floor. There's a living room, family room, great room, let's
Mhm.
call it, in this portion. The kitchen is back here. There was really no kitchen. It was just a small little,
Okay. And you're set pretty far back. What is the new addition coming towards
we're coming,
Little Plains?
we're coming forward. This is about 25 feet forward
To the
to the Little Plains.
Whoa, 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 hold on, you lost me there. Little Plains is where the trees are to the right, correct?
To the.
We're looking at the model?
This is
Your
the
left
road.
hand.
This
Yeah.
is the road.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, so you're
So-
coming towards Little Plains and also towards the funeral parlor.
We're coming into this zone, this side yard. It's a big side yard now.
Right.
This house is sort of oddly tucked way over
No, I
to
know.
the side of the
I know.
property.
Was this Peter Cook's parents' house at one point?
It's
I think it was Brooke.
Okay, doesn't matter.
yeah, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, it's a
Pretty
beautiful,
simple.
tight little house, but it just spaces just don't.
It's a deep lot, though.
And it's a-
And what
it's
is
a-
that, what's going on with the water feature on the
The
front?
water
door?
feature is just sort of an aesthetic that.
Is that really a water feature?
It would.
Which is not
wouldn't
within
be-
our purview.
It wouldn't be in this presentation.
Yeah. Zach, not historic district, however, it is within that realm of that
It's in
footprint
that
of
vicinity, yeah, I
of
think
an
I
area
have a
of
copy
exactly
study.
the dome.
The tower.
So you have an issue with the octagon?
Not yet, just
Not
I
yet.
think it
I'm
should be looked
trying to
at
put it in
neighborhood context.
exactly content with that community in that neighborhood.
Well, there's a
especially-
lot of those towers going up in that neighborhood right now, and I was driving through there just the other day, and there's.
Okay, well, that's why we.
Some of them are square, some of them are, I mean, I think that you can all agree that just the proportion isn't so out of scale to, the new addition, and sort of continuing this sort of wraparound porch that actually at that sort of pedestrian level, it actually kind of grabs the existing house. It's all gonna be shingle style, all square columns. So a gambrel, which with corbels and all the, the
And you're
accoutrements.
cantilevering the gambrel?
There's a 2-foot cantilever on the front and the back.
Right. Why?
Just to give it a little bit of depth on that front porch. We just wanted a little bit more protection for the facade.
I would disagree with your first examination. I don't know that the architectural elements that work with the existing house at a smaller scale work once they're blown up to twice the size or scale of the original building, and I think that's going to be an issue. The depth of the overhang on both of your gable ends are overhanging by, you said, 2 feet or so, okay?
Which is really an
And
overhang.
the scale of the shed roof dormers, which are carrying the upper slope of the gambrel down to that lower level, those are larger because that massing of that newer area is that much larger than the original. So all I'm saying is that by simply replicating those existing architectural elements, but supersizing them, as it were, into this larger addition, makes them considerably larger than in the original house. So that's
Yeah.
just an issue that I would like to look at to sort of feel whether that kind of works aesthetically.
What's your ridge height?
Because this ridge is only 19 feet,
Yeah.
this really doesn't get up past 26
Is
feet.
there anything-
And I'm 5 feet up, and I'm, plus the tower, which is a flat, you can see it's a flat roof, it's not a
I'm
highly.
sorry, what's your ridge again?
Octagonal.
It's 29 to the ridge.
29. Have you considered bringing it sharper or increasing the pitch of the roof?
Well,
The upper roof?
there's a sort of a rhythm to the slope of a gambrel that works, and there's ones that get too flat and they get too fat and chunky.
Mhm.
Whereas, you know, in the width to the proportion, there's slopes and there's
But
certain
if you
ma-
brought the ridge of the upper portion of the gambrel up, wouldn't that lower the tower, the field at the tower, and make it more organic
So
with the roof line?
you have a problem with sort of the tower
No,
going up
no,
above?
I'm just asking a question, that's all.
Well, we've studied all different proportions
And
for
the challenge
the
is it
gambrel.
starts interrupting your fenestration on the tower, correct?
And the
Changes this.
fenestration on the tower, and also the width, you know, we really didn't want this to get
okay.
too fat. You know, and you have your, 16 to 12, 8 to 12, so there's a
Just,
portion.
I know I'm on chimney night tonight, but what is the chimney?
It's a brick chimney.
Okay.
Brian, comments?
In concept, I think it's great. You know, I like how you tied them all together. What I'd like to see a little more of is the way that the smaller house meets the newer house, and some of the details, like the wraparound porch, the way that's hitting the new addition. In your rendering or your perspective in the plans, it's not developed enough. It's just like laying flat on top of a beam, and then you have some corbels running there that they sort of just disappear in the rendering. So I'd like to see more details of
Okay.
that, just to make sure it's all blending together and it doesn't look like you just stuck this house onto another house.
Well,
I'm sure you already did it, but I'm just not seeing it.
That's sort of this project in its essence. We really could have torn down that house and started with a clean slate, and
Right.
I would be coming here with a completely different concept.
Sure.
I have a very sensitive to budget, very sensitive to, they love this house. It's a small little gambrel house on this big lot, and it's tucked all the way over to the side. Thoughts were moving it, shifting it, rotating it, but all the mechanical is down in that, and they wanted to reuse all that. All the electric boxes are all in that,
I'm talking more about the newer part,
Mhm.
not the older part. This corner here.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, that wouldn't be open like that. There would be a shingle.
But see, I don't know
soffit
that.
there. Yeah.
Because your drawings are showing it open.
Okay.
Christine?
I have nothing else to say. No, I'm agreeing with Brian.
Esther?
I agree with Brian. I think we need to see better AutoCAD drawings, and the definition and the transition from old to new would be extremely helpful.
When you say the definition between the new and the old, obviously I could show you a roof plan, and it's in there. I can show you sections, and I only really have a section going through the new portion. I just don't want to come back and have to ask the same question. We want to see a detail of the transition. It basically is, this one tower is sort of just grabbing this little house, and then we're building another gambrel completely around it. I mean, trust you, it's the essence of this project is to try to make this look like the house is one house. We don't want to make that little house look like it's sort of like an offshoot of a bigger house. It's going to be all tied together with cedar shingle roofs and all new, siding and all new fenestration because the windows are failing.
So you're saying that keying in is that the new house the existing house is going to be submissive to the new house in purpose?
It's going to be a secondary structure to the new
Okay.
house. And that's what my son was saying. He goes, "Dad, you're building a new house."
You
and
are
it's-
building here. I would need to see content of community.
Yeah.
I want to see the relationship of your neighbors. I want to see how this now, which was I guess probably more dwarfed home, has been put on steroids and expound and has a tower in the middle, and how that's going to impact the overall neighborhood in terms of its streetscape and whether it ties in overall. You said that there are others
I'll take
in the
pictures.
community
I
which
can
are
take
creating
pictures.
more dome effect, tower effect. I would need to see that.
Okay.
I'm familiar with the street.
So you're
I'm
familiar
there
with
every
the funeral
day.
home, you know what
Fortunately.
size is there, and you're familiar with the bank, the new bank.
Trust me, I'm familiar with that location, and I just don't see it. I'm asking you to convince me because in terms of content, I'm kind of wondering how that's going to play off of bank, town hall, that, and it just looks like it's a lot going on in that area. So I would need
Yeah,
really to
and-
see within context.
And I understand that, but you could also understand that there's some big trees all along here, and this is pretty much secluded. You can't see this house.
Well, I'll see that house, yeah.
Have you gone by the property? to
Yes, I
see it?
have.
Okay. So you know how thick and dense
Yes,
it
I
is
do.
in this corner, and also in this side. Okay.
Any public comment on the application?
One thing. I think that you have a commercial, you're sandwiched between two commercial spaces. I think when we're looking at that property, we should consider that. I think the town hall, which was the former school, is across a very broad street. I think this is a very deep lot. I would say that your idea of making the addition the primary, because of its location in the southeast side of the property, the existing house and what you've done with the shed dormers and keying in your tower, the octagonal, not round, not plain, but really it feels like a part of a vibrant part of an anchor of the house. I think other than tightening up a few details on your plans, I'm in favor of it. I think it looks very good. And to have residential intermixed in that area is really important. I think you're making some great steps.
Okay.
Clarity.
I would see that.
Okay. Very good.
So you're going to take care of the.
I'm going to take care of my notes right here. I'm going to give you some.
Taking
content.
notes, you're going to prepare for our next meeting, and at this time, you're asking this board to adjourn, so you can take care of that.
Yes, and I apologize for the first adjournment. We just weren't ready to.
And some small sets would be very helpful.
Mini sets.
I'll give you complete sets, small
Thank
sets.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn.
I make a motion that we approve the applicant Paolo Alabian's request to adjourn to our next meeting at 20
Second.
Little Plains Road.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good night.
Good night. Application of Kevin O'Connell, 5 Carriage Lane, for construction of 2-story addition.
For the applicant, John David Rose, located at 5 Main Street, Southampton, New York. I have for you affidavits of mailings, affidavits of postings, which you should also have in the file. Additionally, should be photographs of the surrounding neighbors. And most importantly, reduced sets of the architectural plans.
Which replicate and are exact
Exact
to
ones that you
scale.
have in your file.
We have in our file. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's in an R20 zone. It's .2672 acres, or 11,639 square feet. Existing lot coverage is 2,338 square feet. The permitted lot coverage is 3,129, which would allow us to expand it by 791 square feet. We're actually only going to add 116 square feet at the end of the day. We're going to remove some, so it's not a very big addition. Existing first floor is 1,432. Existing second floor is 396. Total square footage of the existing house is 1,828. Our proposed building will be 1,619 on the first floor, 1,205 on the second floor, with a total of 2,825. So we're going to add total, both floors, 997 square feet. This here kind of sums it all up. The bottom is the existing, and the top is the proposed. Story-and-a-half house. It will remain a story-and-a-half house, but there's one bedroom right now. You walk up the main stair and you are in the master bedroom. Roof will be an asphalt timberline weathered wood, cedar siding. All trim will be painted white, double-hung windows, 6/1, simulated divided lights. If you look at page A5, you'll see this comparison of before and after. And then on A8, you're going to see the pyramid law and show that it's well within the pyramid law, which is really why it takes on the shape.
Comments, Brian?
The existing chimneys, are they, what's
They're
happening
there to
with them?
remain.
Both of them?
Yes. You won't see this one.
Right.
Okay.
I don't have any issues with this.
Fine. I'm fine.
I think it's wonderful, actually. You might want to show it to the camera.
I absolutely want it.
John, would you consider stuccoing those chimneys?
If the budget allows, but it doesn't. If I were building new, they certainly wouldn't look like that.
Got it, okay.
Any public comments on the application? Motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve Kevin O'Connell, 5 Carriage Lane.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you for your time.
We still have 46 McGee waiting to.
Sorry?
We still have 46 McGee.
Oh, we'll just keep going until they come back in.
I think they were hovering in.
Oh, okay.
I think they're ready.
A recall on, Joe, you wanna recall?
Recall.
Okay. Recall is 46 McGee flag.
Okay,
so.
Where's the guy?
Oh, I think he went outside. You want to go grab him?
No.
Did he have
Is
questions?
he okay?
Well, we
You went outside with him and he didn't come back. So yes, could you go get him,
Go get
please?
him? Why don't you go get him?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. All right, we'll keep going for a while. Let's make sure the guy's okay. Next application is.
Wait, he's hopefully digging him
Talking.
up. I'm missing a set of plans from McGee.
From McGee?
Um,
Whoops.
9:30.
Oh, sorry, I don't see him.
Spooky.
I don't even know where to go with that one, man.
Do we?
Did you do anything to him?
No. I mean, I agree. We're gonna do what he requested. So.
What has he requested?
Okay, we're gonna. He's to the east, so we're gonna give him an extra. I have it right up to the setback, so I'm gonna give him an extra 5 feet there. Shift the house 5 feet to the west. No change to the architecture, just shifting it 5 feet to the west, and arborvitae on the property line.
We need
15 foot
we're
plus.
going to need a new survey.
Yeah.
That
We
shows
just get
that,
the new
so-
survey and the
You really
new
wanna
site
do
plan.
that?
He's
So-
agreed to it, so.
Not really. It doesn't really impact us. So if he wants it,
You know,
we'll
it
do
delays
it.
your application from being approved. Whereas landscape will probably resolve some of his issues.
Yeah.
5 feet is, you want to move the entire house 5 feet? What's your setback there?
It's 20 feet, I think.
Okay, so you're going to move to 25, and you're okay with that?
Yeah.
It's an odd shaped lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're requesting an adjournment? You wanna poll the
I mean,
board?
if it's really just a change to the survey. I mean, if it's
Which we
possible
need.
to give a conditional approval and have the.
Well, if it were something like landscape plan, I would say no problem.
Mhm.
It's just actually significant. You're asking
Okay.
for a 5 foot move on, which is going to require a survey.
Well,
I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Suggestion?
I would,
Sure.
go ahead.
Suggestion? You're going to endeavor to move it 5 feet. Would you like a vote on the existing application as it lays, since the neighbor is not bothered to stay here?
He's already,
Okay.
he's made on record that he made an agreement with
first.
someone. I understand, he made on record, he made an agreement to move. If you're saying that you're moving if you're right now saying that you're moving the property, I'm sorry, the house, over 5 feet, I need a new survey.
Okay.
Okay, so you're asking this board to adjourn so that you can get a new survey.
Yes.
Any public comment? Anything further from the board?
No.
Motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn.
I make a motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn 46 McGee Flag Southampton LLC.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I just
Nice looking
make,
house.
thanks. Can I just make one procedural question? I think the next meeting is on the 28th. I know I'm not going to be able to attend that. If I sent the builder here, just to...
As long as you have representation, it's fine.
Fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for working with a neighbor.
Sure.
Good night.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I hope to see him again. Next application, please.
Yeah.
Next application is Gail Lee, 38 Halsey Street, for a screen porch and second floor addition.
Hi, good evening. I'm Frank Bostelman from Frank Bostelman Architecture, representing the applicant. I have 3 mini sets here. Sorry, rookie mistake. I should have made 5, but
We'll share.
they are replicas of what was submitted to the building.
Exactly.
They're exact.
Exact.
Thank you. You want to show one?
Your name as well?
Mark Raccoon, sorry, my colleague. Basically, it's roughly about 350 square foot enclosed space addition to an existing house on 38 Halsey Street. The house faces west. There is no change to the front facade at all. We will be matching all existing materials, which is a shingle house, there's an asphalt shingle roof, and trims are painted white. Standard windows and doors, which we'll be matching on the extension.
How many square feet?
The house in total, it's about 350 square feet enclosed additional to what is existing. Basically, we have an existing screened porch on the house, which we're taking down, replacing with a screened porch and a second floor bedroom suite above that.
Got it. Okay.
The whole extension just extends to the back of the property and isn't visible from the front.
Yeah, just gonna show you.
Very nice. Materials?
Materials are to match existing, which would be the shingles. I have, well, here we go. So here's a board photo of the existing house, front facade. We'd be matching everything to existing. Shingles would be the same.
The screening porch is in your lower left there?
Screening porch is this one here.
That one, yeah.
So we're basically building a second floor above that to extend out, in which would there be a second bedroom suite, a guest suite. We'd also be taking down this deck and reconfiguring it. But basically the
Fenestration back up again, so we're spreading it out. 3, 2, and 3?
Yeah, well, to match, yeah, throughout.
Whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
The other kind of major workload is we're digging out the basement. It's currently about a 6.5 to 7 foot ceiling height in there. Trying to get a rec room and such down there, so we want to take out 2 feet. But that would be the existing footprint of the building. We also would be supplying an exterior staircase going down to that area, which you can see on the side plan.
There's the floor plan.
Do you have a,
Streetscape?
sorry?
Do you have a neighboring streetscape?
Yes, we do actually. On the second page, I believe, in there, do we have the neighboring, those 2 shots? Is it?
A102.1.
The neighboring streetscape. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, we have them in the small, we
Yeah,
don't, we
there
don't have the
go.
large ones.
That's helpful, thank you.
So that's to the left and right of the house.
You have a photograph of what the exterior staircase is going to look like? I didn't see it.
I don't have a photograph, that would be a new extension. So that is basically, from the front you don't see anything, you just see the railing.
It's just a railing.
But if you look
Right.
at the, if you look at the south elevation,
Got it,
the new south elevation
Got
shows
it.
the sort of deeper
Okay.
exterior stair.
That would be down and lead to exterior access. To the
Ryan,
basement.
comments?
I think it's fine.
It's very creative and it looks really good.
Thank you.
Nice
Pam?
presentation.
Thank you. It's very clear. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Any public comment on the application?
Do you want these mini sets back?
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
If you don't need them.
Okay, I'll give you one back.
Motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve Gail Lee, 38 Halsey Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
super.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
John Cindrus?
Hold on. Hold on. This gotta go.
This is O'Connell. You need this? No, this is an extra.
Put this in there. Yeah.
Sorry.
That goes in there.
John Cinderis, right?
Sedaris.
Sedaris?
Yep.
Good boy.
And these are 5 or 4 half-size sets.
Same as
Yeah.
Jim, you have the affidavit of posting and mailing?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jim McChesney. I'm the architect for the project. Basically, it's a little cape on West Prospect Street. It's surrounded by privet that's probably 20 feet tall. It's not so visible from the street. And we're planning on putting some additions on.
Flag lot, right?
It's not a flag lot.
Not a flag?
No. You would drive by it and not
You
see
never
it.
see it. Yeah, I know the.
There's a pre-existing, it pre-exists that it does not conform to the pyramid law, but the additions that we are putting on all do. There's a separate diagram that shows that.
You're proposing cedar shingle and vertical cupola?
Yes. We're gonna mix
Same
two
color
different
or-
materials. No, the vertical siding will be painted white.
White.
And wood windows, true divided light, cedar shingle roof.
Thanks,
All the typical materials.
I don't have any issues with this.
A lot of stone, very nice sit back, even if we could see it from the street. Still a very pleasing design.
Great.
Brian?
No issues.
Thank you.
Esther?
Very nice.
Thank you.
Any public discussion on the application?
Nice presentation, thank you.
Motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve John Sedaris, 240 West Prospect Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
William and Leslie Collins, 7 David's Court, construction of a new house. Garage.
That's my project also.
You have many sets? Tell me.
I do. And I also have the postings and
Are these extra copies?
Those are extra copies. Put in the junk file.
Affidavit of posting. Do these mini sets match up with your file?
They do. And there's a survey, pictures of the existing house that seem to be torn
This goes
down.
in there. That's Prospect. Mini sets?
They're on their way. Sorry, did I?
I'm getting backed up in processing.
Sorry. So this is a new house at the end of basically a private road. There's a big, probably a 25-foot hedge that surrounds this, so it's really not very visible from anywhere. We're proposing to tear down an existing house and replace it with a house that probably makes more sense with the geometry of the site. There's an existing tennis court that we're gonna keep, and then the rest of the house works off of that geometry.
When was this house built?
I'm sorry?
When was the house that you're tearing down built?
Probably, it's an old, the original part of the house was old, and I think it was added on to in many phases. And it's very chopped up.
But when do you think it was built?
I think the original part of the house is probably from maybe the early 70s.
Right.
And probably
Just
3
added
or
and
4
added and
additions
added.
onto it after.
Yeah, okay.
It's really not in the best of
There's no-
condition.
All right, North elevation, which is the rear, correct?
The front elevation is the north elevation.
The front is.
The south
Ridge
elevation.
height, Jim?
Just hold on, let me answer, please.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Okay, so the south is your rear.
That's right.
The front is your north.
That's right.
Where is your entry point?
Right on in the
middle of the gable.
north elevation, right under the center gable. There's an arbor that it's pushed back from.
Okay.
If you look on the plan, there's a bunch of plane changes in the front. There step back. There's a covered porch and then the gallery section is pushed back.
Chimneys?
I'm sorry?
Chimneys?
Yes. We're planning on doing stacked stone.
Stacked
And there's going to be stacked stone walls, foundation walls, and
Species?
stacked stone.
Species of the stone?
It'll be like a blue stone.
Okay. And the roof material?
Cedar shingle.
Okay, and the siding?
Horizontal.
Clapboard?
Yeah.
Stained or white?
Probably stained.
Okay.
And true divided windows.
So
hardware.
you have a third-story balcony. Let's look. Sorry, I just need the survey. All right, so your side yards are.
Big.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, it's very handsome.
Thank you.
I'm having trouble with the AutoCAD. It's reading in 2-dimension, so I would really like to see a more 3-dimensional AutoCAD.
Brian?
I'm fine with it. I like it's a mix of traditional and modern. You know, I like it's the pergolas all around it and the big terrace going around. I think it's attractive. I can understand what Esther's saying, though. You know,
If you're not used to reading
if you're not
Yeah. I mean,
used to this every day, it's hard to visualize.
It's very
I
flat,
understand.
you know, so I really would need, the feeling of it is quite beautiful, but I
Mhm.
would really just like to see a different AutoCAD if you could.
Yeah.
With a little more 3-dimensional depth.
Okay.
That would be very helpful to know.
I'm not going to be able to make it to the next meeting, but if I were to send someone with a
That's
drawing.
fine, yeah.
Question. Brian, do you have any issue with the plan?
No.
You have no issues. Pam, do you have any issues with the plan?
I don't have any issues with it, but I would respect the board member who wants to view it. So I don't know if he'd have to come back with representation other than,
Well, if there's no,
judgment.
if there's no objection of 3 board members, then there's a quorum and therefore there's a vote. So the question is, do you feel that the 4th vote is is necessary enough for the applicant to come back? Or I have no objection of the project as well.
Well, I think I'd rather feel comfortable with the member who's expressed that she'd like to have, or that person would like to have a clear viewpoint.
Any public comment?
I don't think it's necessary for the applicant to come back, though.
No,
if
you
it's a
can certainly send
clarification.
somebody else.
Okay.
I'm sure the drawings will be self-explanatory. I'm just having difficulty.
Okay, I understand that.
No public comment? All right, so you're asking the board to adjourn so you can come back with your.
Yes. To the next meeting, Jim?
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn.
Make a motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn, William and Leslie Collins, 7 David's Court.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
Next application, please.
Next application, Chair is Lida, rather, and Thomas Fitzgerald, 352 Captain's Neck for driveway gates.
Good evening, everyone.
I'm sorry?
My name is Mike Sauter. I'm representing the Fitzgeralds on this project and the construction of wood gates and wood columns. I'm sorry, my name? Mike Sorter.
And you're representing?
The Fitzgeralds on this project.
Need to share.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
All right. Wood gates, wood posts.
Yes.
We have panelization underneath, but it's only 5 inches high. What's it? So we have 3 inch. I'm sorry, 1.5 inch pickets.
Yes.
3+ inch.
Yeah, good
openings.
3 inch.
I have no issue with the transparency. No lanterns, no anything.
No.
No issues.
No issues.
No issues.
Any public comment on the application? Motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the application of Lyda and Thomas Fitzgerald for driveway gates, 352 Captain Bank.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much for your time.
Chris Casito, 177 Captain's Neck for one-story single-family dwelling with driveway gates.
Shadow.
Shadow.
My name is Peter Schulte. I'm the architect for the project. I have some half-size sets here that are identical to the ones submitted.
Do these match up?
Yes, they're identical, just half-size. I also have 2 sets of photos which don't really show much. It's just a vegetation. So this is a proposal for basically it's a tennis house and a driveway and a dock gate.
Right.
The Cachados own the adjacent lot with the corner of Fox Pasture, which you approved a few years ago. So they bought the adjacent lot to the north, it's in separate ownership, and they want to build a 2,000 square foot house. They don't really want the house, but they have to build the house to get the tennis court. So they're building a driveway, which they also don't want, and a gate they don't want, and a house they don't want. So they got a tennis court.
Stuff we
It's
have
very
to do to
simple.
live.
Exactly.
Life is
And,
tough.
and it's a very simple house. It's just
I don't want it,
a
but I'll just build it anyway.
This is terrific.
The wonders of the world.
Make me ill if you keep talking.
It's late, right?
Yeah. No, not this late.
Okay.
The whole concept is perplexing.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Lovely.
Beautiful house, it really is. Yeah.
Stunning property.
All right.
That's not how it is.
Everything's okay then?
Everything's fine.
Any public comment on the application?
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Public
Thank you.
comment? Motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve Chris Casiato, 177 Captain's Neck Lane for a 1-story single-family dwelling and driveway.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Final application for tonight is Stephen Brotman, 200 Murray Place for driveway gates. Jim, are you on this too?
Yes, Mr. Hoag.
Drop it to Mr. Hoag, would you? Mr. Rump? What do we have?
We have, this is at 200 Murray Place, Mr. Chairman and board members. It's a stucco house that's set far back, so we've proposed an iron gate, very simple picket, with a stucco pier.
Lanterns?
They're not, they're just caps, they're not lanterns.
There's no
Just
lights.
There's no
lights.
lights.
Okay.
More than enough transparency. Tastefully done. Both in keeping. I have no issue with it. Brian?
Nope, I think it's fine.
Okay.
Esther?
All good.
Any public comment on the application?
Okay, therefore, make a motion to approve the application for driveway gates for Stephen Brotman, 200 Murray Place.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Okay. we
Long
have-
agenda, you guys did a great job.
I'm sorry?
It's only 10 o'clock.
Long agenda, you did a great
Yeah,
job.
you think. All right.
10 to 10 is the record.
Minutes?
Minutes. I don't have those. Let's see your agenda for a second.
What?
Grabbed the wrong computer, so I can't look at it.
It's okay.
So we don't know
Well, we
who's.
were all here the last meeting, right?
Yeah, I don't think those are right. I think it's just the last.
All right,
one.
let's hold off on approving those.
Hold on, June 11th, definitely. You were all here on that one.
No, we were never, none of us were here the last meeting. We
Not the
canceled
25th,
it.
the
So
11th.
let's do the minutes at the next meeting.
Let's do the minutes next meeting. Motion to close.
I make a motion
Did
to
you-
close the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation for July 14th, 2014.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Aye.